progress.
Dear participants, good morning and welcome to this midterm conference of the EnerCmed project. My name is Genoa. I'm professor at the University of Genoa and coordinator of the EnerCmed project. And for me, it's both an honor and pleasure to open this meeting. On behalf of the EnerCmed midterm conference organizers, I would like to extend a warm welcome to all attendees joining us, as well as to everyone contributing to this important event dedicated to policies and instruments for the energy transition. The EnerCmed project, the full name is Testing Energy Community and Climate Resilient Integrated Paradigm for Carbon Neutrality and Energy Poverty Shielding in Med City Port Internet. This project, the EnerCmed project, belongs to the Interreg Euro-MED program and involves 9 partners, namely University of Genoa, CINLOC, that is an Italian large public company, the University of Cyprus, Valencia Climate and Energy Foundation from Spain, EURENA, Eastern Regional Energy Agency, the Municipality of Patras, Greece, the Municipality of Genoa, Italy, ITER Research and Development, a Spanish private company, and the Larnaca Municipality. We are working all together with the scope to tackle pressing energy challenges in Mediterranean ports, focusing on renewable energy communities and self-consumption schemes with nature-based solutions. These are the keywords that guide our work. This conference serves a platform for informal dialogue and interdisciplinary exchange, aimed at advancing our collective understanding of the policy frameworks and technical instruments that are essential to achieving an environmental and sustainable energy future. Midterm conferences like this one are real milestones in a project's journey. They give us a moment to pause, look at what we've done so far, and fine-tune our direction so we can hit our goals. Just as importantly, they bring people together, researchers, stakeholders, communities, to reconnect ideas, to recall ideas and actions. And with today's climate and energy challenge, that's more important than ever. Take the European Green Deal, the REPowerEU plan, or the Fit for 55 package. They all point to the same horizon, a fair, green energy transition that leaves no one behind. But these big ambitions are only work if they're grounded in what's happening on the ground, in projects like ours and many others across the regions and communities. There's no shortage of initiatives, policies, and strategies, and so on climate, on energy transition, on sustainability. But the problem is too often they stay in their own silos. They are somehow confined. That's why projects like this and conferences like today's matter. They help connect the dots, because all this work, whether small or large, serves the same purpose: building a world that's greener, fairer, and more resilient. This is our common goal, and for this target, we all are working together. This midterm conference, the midterm conference of the EnerCmed project, is part of our more wide activity, which closely follows the priorities of the European Green Deal, of the EU Energy Union, and the climate adaptation strategy. What EnerCmed brings with its work to the table is a hands-on, replicable model for putting inclusive energy and climate action into practice at the local level. And how we do that? By setting up 6 renewable energy communities or self-consumption schemes and pairing them and coupling them with nature-based solutions, right in underserved Mediterranean hinterlands. In doing so, the project tackles real challenges, from energy poverty to urban climate resilience, from the inclusion of vulnerable community to the challenging of building energy communities in advantageous areas. At the heart of it, EnerCmed shows how decentralized community-driven solutions can push forward a fair and equitable energy transition. And beyond that, it provides concrete insights for policymakers who are shaping frameworks on decarbonization, social inclusion, and sustainable urban development. I'd now like to share a short video that brings the EnerCmed project to life. It outlines the core elements that make this initiative unique, from social engagement to renewable energy communities, from nature-based solutions to the network of partners driving it forward. Each part comes with clear objectives and a common purpose. In just a few minutes, you'll get a full picture of the project scope and the vision guiding it.
Renewable energy communities are groups of individuals, companies, or organizations that collectively produce, share, and consume renewable energy, with the aim of reducing environmental impacts and promoting energy independence. Nature-based solutions are sustainable approaches that use natural processes and ecosystems to address environmental challenges such as climate change, water management, and biodiversity loss, while benefiting human well-being and resilience. The EnerCmed project aims to combine these two concepts in order to maximize their effects and create more living and energy-sustainable backport areas, while helping the most economically fragile households.
Now we can go through the project organization. The EnerCmed is organized into three Now we can go through the project organization. EnerCmed is organized into three main work packages. Work package 1 is already completed with the creation of terms of reference or a practical guideline that lays out the key steps for setting up renewable energy communities or self-consumption schemes. This document brings something new, a multi-criteria decision-making protocol built around 4 core pillars: social engagement, technical and energy aspects, economic, financial, and governance frameworks, microclimate, and nature-based solutions principles. Together, these pillars form a forward-looking model for energy-positive, climate-resilient planning, with a strong focus on 6 nature-based solutions. The guideline that comes out of this work will act as both a diagnostic tool and a feasibility framework to guide the pilot projects in work package 2, ensuring all regions move forward the consistent shared approach. At this point, the design and implementation plans for renewable energy communities combined with NBSs in the pilot countries are underway and will be finalized by the end of work package 2. In the end, work package 3 will test and validate the model, replicated in one selected pilot. Hopefully, this will show how the approach can be transferred and scaled up in new contexts. the term of reference guideline takes us through a clear step-by-step process to shape the project's 4 pillars. It begins with planning, define the vision, goals, and scope of renewable energy communities and or self-consumption schemes. Then comes financing, mobilizing both public and private resources. Project management runs across it all, keeping stakeholders' timelines and responsibilities aligned. From there, the focus shifts to social engagement, raising awareness, building trust, and making sure vulnerable groups are included in this transition. We then move to technical design and digitalization, setting up renewables, smart metering, and grid integration. At the same time, the legal constitution of ARISES or SESs defines governance, administration, and business models tailored to local needs. In parallel, nature-based solutions are designed to fight urban heat and strengthen resilience. After that, it's about implementation, put infrastructure, digital tools, and governance structures in place. Then comes monitoring, tracking performance, impact, and benefits to guide improvements. And finally, the process looks ahead with future expansion, making the model scalable, replicable, and sustainable. Together, these steps connect the technical, social, financial, and environmental dimensions, ensuring a solid approach that works across different urban contexts. As you may have already seen in the agenda, the mid-term conference is organized into 4 thematic sessions, followed by a spatial contribution from the Green Living Areas, GLA thematic community, and concluding with a final roundtable discussion. This conference brings together key insights and findings from several significant projects and initiatives. In particular, NRG-COM, R1, Logrina, Renewport, Power Up, RIP, NAGS, and the 4LA project, and also the experience of the Koala company. All these contributions aim to explore common challenges and opportunities across energy, sustainability, and community engagement. The coming sessions structured in this way. Session 1 and 2, moderated by Patras Moutzaridis, will focus on policy frameworks to support implementation of renewable energy communities and nature-based solutions, tools and technologies that enable resilient energy systems. Then, in session 3 and 4, moderated by Augusto Boccanegra, we'll shift towards financial management instruments that can support transition, social engagement, with emphasis on inclusion, behavioral change, and community empowerment. So, session 1 and 2, policy frameworks, tools and technology. Session 3 and 4, financial and management instruments, and social engagement. This is the agenda. Concluding, this midterm conference is intended as a space for meaningful dialogue, knowledge sharing, and forward thinking. Our aim is to bring together people from policy, technology, environmental sciences, and the social sector, because the energy transition touches all these fields, and we need different perspectives to move forward. During this conference, you will hear about project experiences, innovative methods, and practical solutions, especially around renewable energy communities and nature-based solutions, and also about strategies for making transition inclusive. We don't want this to be just a discussion. We want to draw out lessons that can be applied concretely, that can scale, and that can improve policy and implementation frameworks at both local and regional levels. And finally, we hope this event sparks new ideas and initiatives and delivers policy recommendations that help base our progress towards sustainable climate resilient communities. Thank you. Now it's time to begin our first session. And I'm pleased to give the floor to Professor Petros Muzoridis, who will lead us into the first section of our conference. Please, Petros, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Professor Skenone. Thank you for this kind introduction. First of all, I would like to say good morning to everyone. Welcome you to our today conference, and thank you for joining us to this conference. My name is Petros Muzoridis, a senior researcher at the University of Cyprus, and I have the pleasure of chairing these two early sessions in our conference. The first session is titled Policy Framework for Renewable Energy Communities and Nature-Based Solution Implementation. We will have two presentations in the beginning, exploring the European and national regulatory frameworks and the multifunctional roles of NBS for building resilient cities. Each speaker will present for 15 minutes, and we will close the first session with a short Q&A and interactive poll. So I would like to invite you to submit your question during the presentations, and at the end I can give the questions to the presenters in order to have a short discussion. So with that, let's begin with our first speaker. It's my pleasure to welcome Ms. Tamara Todorovic, representing the EnerCmed project and Force Montenegro Foundation for Development of the Northern Montenegro. Her talk is titled Analysis of the European and National Regulatory Framework. So, dear Ms. Todorovic, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Good morning to everyone, and thank you for the kind words, and thanks to the organizer for this opportunity to present some activities of the EnerCmed project. I will now share my presentation. Seems there are some technical issues. I don't know what's going on.
Dear Abra, can we help in a way for the presentation?
Presentation to be shared. We tried it a few minutes ago and it worked.
It's okay, I can share for you, Tamara.
Yeah, great. Okay. Thank you very much. So it's my pleasure to be part of this event and to present the analysis of the European and national regulatory framework. My name is Tamara Todorovic, and I work for Force Montenegro Foundation for the Development of Northern Montenegro. I work there as a manager for project development and implementation, and Force Montenegro is an NGO which has been existing since 2006 with the main goals of socioeconomic development, environmental protection, and civil society development. Within these areas, we have implemented a number of projects, most of which were international and realized in cooperation with international partners. So, next slide, please. This presentation and this activity which I'm presenting today is part of the EnerCmed project, full name being Creating Appropriate Operational Conditions for Renewable Energy Communities in the Danube region. The project is being implemented in 12 countries of the Danube region: Austria, Bulgaria, Czech Republic, Croatia, Germany, Hungary, Moldova, Romania, Serbia, Slovakia, Slovenia, and Montenegro. And the project is ongoing. It will be finished in June next year. So one of the first activities of this project, first I would like to mention also the goal of the project is to provide the Danube region with an enabling environment and a well-informed society where renewable energy initiatives can be launched and scaled effectively. By encouraging local self-production and consumption, the project is contributing to the transition to the renewable energy sources in the region, enhancing energy efficiency and reducing reliance on imported fossil fuels. So, like I mentioned, one of the first activities for which our organization was in charge was international comparison of national legal systems. Within this project activity, each project partner analyzed and compared the national legal systems in order to draw parallels between the characteristics of the legal framework on energy communities, considering the competence of laws and regulations, conditions of the establishment, and the forms of the operation, in order to identify similarities and differences and areas for improvement, as well as to contribute to the legal feasibility of energy communities in the Danube region. It's important to say that this analysis was done in June 2024, so last year. It was finalized in June last year, so there have been some improvements since then, but I would present the main part of the analysis conducted then. Okay, thank you. Can you, Ambra, next slide, please? So I would mention a few sentences regarding the European legislation in this area. And the European Union has introduced the concept of energy communities into its legislation, in particular civil and renewable energy communities, through the Clean Energy for All Europeans package adopted back in 2019. These concepts were elaborated in European Union legislation in order to deliver the objective to empower all consumers across the EU in Europe's energy transition and put them at the center of the energy union. The Directive on Common Rules for the Internal Market in Electricity of 2019 contains new rules that allow active participation of consumers individually or through civil energy communities in all markets, either by producing, consuming, sharing, or selling electricity, or by providing flexibility services through demand response. Also, the revised Renewable Energy Directive of 2018 aims to strengthen the role of renewable energy consumers themselves and renewable energy communities. Next slide. Okay. So with that in mind, our comparison of the development of energy communities for all 12 target countries of the project in the Danube region is done based on the three main criteria, which have more general character. First, we analyzed the readiness of the legal framework. And we can say that all EU member states have successfully transposed requirements of relevant directives of the European Union into their national legal frameworks. However, in some countries, there is still a lack of the secondary regulation that closer defines different aspects of energy communities, such as access to the grid, energy sharing, etc. That situation negatively influenced the implementation into practice, of course. In some other countries, including Montenegro, which we represent today, so to say, legal framework is still under development, and transfer of knowledge from EU countries plays important role and facilitates overall process. For us in Montenegro, it's very important to take part in projects like this, exactly for this reason, because we still do not have operating and functional energy renewable energy communities, and this transfer of knowledge and experience from EU countries is very important for us to let's say, learn from their processes and adjust knowledge that we gain to our local circumstances. Then the second criteria is availability of support. And in general, all EU member states have access to different funds for financing a promotion of the distributed production of renewable energy sources and promotion of energy communities, considering that this concept is introduced at the level of the European Union. Other countries have to establish supporting mechanism in parallel with finalization of the legal framework. Implementation into practice, existence of the operational renewable energy communities, and we can say that having in mind that the concept of energy communities is relatively new, implementation into practice requires time for setting up the framework and providing supporting mechanism. In general, in the Danube region, Germany and Austria are the two countries that have promoted similar concepts in the past, and for them it is easier to adjust the legal setup to the newest requirements of the directives of the European Union. So to say, what could be expected from this analysis, that there is different level of development between countries. And so in general, we can group them into three main groups. The first group including countries which are in an advanced stage, in which Austria and Germany, of course, belong, and some other countries like Slovenia or the Czech Republic. Then we have the intermediate group of countries which are in intermediate phase, which can be said for Croatia, Slovakia, Romania, and Hungary. And then we have countries which are in the beginners phase or starters, where we have countries including Bulgaria, Serbia, Moldova, and Montenegro. So now, Ambra, if you could please move to the next slide. We have a few sentences per country. So I will try to mention them very briefly, so in order not to take too much of your time. Like we said, for Austria, everything is a functional legal framework for renewable energy communities and civil energy communities is set. Support schemes for energy communities are available, and community generation facilities have been in place for almost a decade. Bulgaria, which is in group 3, countries which are in the beginners phase, have, as regards readiness of the legal framework, renewable energy communities are recognized by the relevant laws, but the relevant bylaws are still under development. National scheme for renewable energy sources in household is set, and there is no effective implementation into practice, only for prosumers in household sector. Can we move now to the next slide with the following countries? Croatia, which is it can be said, some intermediate group. Legal framework is in place. Categories of energy communities are defined, as well as procedures for installation and connection to the grid. Funds for support of renewable energy communities are available through different national instruments supported from the funds from the European Union, but implementation into practice is limited. As for the Czech Republic, a new legal framework for energy communities is recently set. A variety of financial mechanism and technical assistance initiative is available at national and regional level, also supported from the funds of the European Union. Implementation in practice is still limited. Ambra, next slide, please. For Germany, we said that, like for Austria, legal framework is well established. Support schemes for energy communities are operational, and concepts of energy communities have been successfully implemented since 2005. Hungary legal framework is in place. Procedure for setting up of the renewable energy communities are defined. Financial support needs to be enhanced. Implementation into practice is limited due to the imperfection of the legal framework and lack of the financial support. Okay, can we please move to the next slide? Here we have Moldova and Montenegro, and you can see a lot of red color because we are in the starters phase. For Moldova, legal basis for renewable energy community is set, but financing support still to be established. In practice, they don't function yet, to be implemented after completion of the legal framework. For Montenegro, this is the information from the, like I said, preparation of the analysis phase. So law on renewable energy sources has been passed, but the legal framework in our country is still not developed because bylaws or secondary legislation which defines this area still needs to be passed. Programs for promotion of energy prosumers are in place, but financing support mechanism for renewable energy communities needs to be established. In other words, they are missing. Implementation into practice is expected only in the future period after adoption of the bylaws, secondary legislation, and after setting up some programs for promotion of energy, of renewable energy communities. Okay, and the next slide, please. Romania, a legal framework is set, procedure for registration, rules for connection to the grid, and the tariffs are defined. Funds for support for renewable energy communities are available. Energy communities are implemented into practice to a certain extent, but need to be further promoted and supported through design schemes. Serbia, renewable energy communities are recognized by the law, but need to be closer regulated through the secondary legislation. Supporting schemes need to be further developed, and implementation into practice is to be expected after completion of the legal framework. Next slide, please. We have also Slovakia and Slovenia. For Slovakia, legal framework is set, supporting mechanism for application of the energy communities to be further developed, and implementation is at an early stage. And for Slovenia, which can also be put into groups of countries with more advanced level of development. Legal framework for renewable energy communities and civil energy communities is set. Supporting mechanisms exist. Implementation is in progress. Local and regional energy agencies, together with municipalities, should play more important role in promotion of energy communities. Next slide, please. Before talking about some conclusions, I would like to say that the analysis of the legislation was done by project partners, and it's my pleasure to see that some representative of some of the partner organizations attend this today's event. So if they would like to add something, they can do later. We have summarized what has been concluded in their national report submitted to us as the coordinator of these project activities. Like we said before, we have seen that there are countries with different level of development with regard to energy communities, considering main criteria like legal framework, existence of subsidies and financing support, and operational status. So, like we said, although all EU member states in the Danube region have successfully transposed requirements of the directives of the European Union regarding energy communities into national legal framework, some of them still need to do adjustment with the aim of clear distinction between civil energy communities and regional renewable energy communities. In addition to that, a few countries still need to develop bylaws which shall regulate different aspects of energy communities, such as access to the grid, tariff models, or energy sharing, with the aim of facilitation of the implementation into practice. Most of the EU member states in the Danube region have set supporting mechanism for development of the energy communities, thanks to the access to different EU funds for financing a promotion of the distributed production of energy from renewable sources. In non-EU countries in the Danube region, among which there is Montenegro, a legal framework for energy communities is still under development, as well as setting up supporting mechanisms, which is important to be implemented in parallel. Taking into account delay in the implementation for those countries, transfer of knowledge from EU countries plays important role and facilitates overall process of development of the energy communities. Like we said, we have seen in the presentation that there are advanced countries, intermediate, let's say, phase, and starters phase. And I would like to mention that this EnerCmed project, with a wide range of its activities, has successfully contributed already to building capacities of all project partners and improvement of the situation. I can say for certainly for our organization, and contributed a lot to raise the awareness about the importance of further promotion of renewable energy sources and establishment of renewable energy communities. Okay, that's more or less all. I have just the last slide. I thank you for your attention. If you have any questions, please. And also, like I said, the analysis has been done by the partner organizations, so maybe they can join us in the conversation in order to further clarify the situation.
Thank you, dear Tamara, for this very nice presentation. I think it was very important to see the different legal framework and status in different countries. We can have some questions at the last part of this session. So now I think we can move to our next presentation. I would like to invite Mr. Giorgio Scavino, who is Communication Manager at ANSI Lazio, and he will speak on behalf of Urban Project. His presentation is titled The Multifunctional Role of Nature-Based Solutions for More Resilient and Sustainable Cities. So, dear Mr. Scavino, the floor is yours.
Hello, thank you very much. Thank you very much for your kind invitation. You can hear me?
Yes, we can hear you clearly.
Oh, great. So perfectly. So thank you very much. And I am pleasure to speak on behalf of ANSI Lazio, that is the Association of Municipality of Lazio region in Italy, which is also the lead partner of Urban Project, that is urban regenerative water avant-garden projects. I am truly pleased to join this webinar on behalf of the Urban Partnership, obviously. Following the valuable analysis, the framework of political regulatory framework offered by Mrs. Tamara Todorovic, my contribution will focus on the concrete solution can translate European and national laws into practice. So why nature-based solutions matter? Because climate change is not a future threat, it's already here. And according to the European Environment Agency, 74% of urban population is in Southern Europe already face the growing water scarcity risk. Also in Mediterranean cities, average summer temperature have increased by more or less 2.5 degrees Celsius in the last decades, intensifying also the urban heat island effect. More than 60% of urban soil in med cities is silt, increasing both flood risks and vulnerability to heat. At the same time, European cities are asking for greener cities. Survey show that 85% of EU citizens believe more urban green spaces would improve their quality of life. But more greenery also means more water consumption. So the question is, how do we create green, livable cities in times of water scarcity? Yeah, and this is where nature-based solutions can come in. Through a urban project, we would like to demonstrate how multifunctional nature-based solution can bring green living area and also European Bauhaus goals by integrating biodiversity enhancement, climate resilience, social inclusiveness, and also aesthetic quality, and also education opportunities. So the role of NBS is to create urban spaces that are sustainable, beautiful, and beneficial for people and the communities. ANSI Lazio has recently experience in supporting energy communities, and today I would like to highlight how nature-based solutions go far beyond urban greening. NBS can integrate renewable energy system such as photovoltaic, green roofs, and energy efficient infrastructure, making our towns, our cities more resilient and sustainable and inclusive. So NBS play a central role in building resilience, offering at least 3 tangible outcomes. First, water management. In Mediterranean cities, we face both floods and droughts. Through rain gardens, green schoolyards, and green roofs, we are transforming impermeable surfaces into active water producers. So in our project, we have two public buildings as a ready equipped as a pilot area, equipped to harvest and reuse rainwater. Second, the climate benefits increasing green coverage and helps to reduce urban heat island and improve comfort for citizens. And finally, the third aspect is biodiversity. NBS create host habitats for native species and strengthen ecological connection in our urban areas. But also nature-based solutions also generate strong social and economic value. In the urban methodology, we encourage local government to co-design solutions. So it's important to this political aspect to encourage solutions together with citizens and stakeholders through community engagement, living labs, for example. This participatory approach not only ensures ownership about the pilot area, but also create an alignment with the real community needs. As we recently experienced in Rome and Cuba, in Portugal, but also strengthen the replicability of intervention. We are in concrete contribution. We are working to create concrete contribution that is the catalog of NBS that want to be a practical tool organized in two main categories: water snob and water smart. So water snob solution is are solutions primarily focus on containing and controlling water, reducing the immediate risk of runoff, floods, and soil erosion. Examples include rain gardens, permeable pavements, and green roofs designed to retain and slow down storm water. Their priority is the protection and risk mitigation. The second example are water smart solutions. Instead, go one step further. They use water as a resource for circularity and regeneration. Why? Because this includes rainwater harvesting, wastewater treatment, and reuse system. For example, in schoolyards and public spaces redesigned to collect and store water for irrigation, cooling, or other alternative uses. So the priority is turning water challenges into opportunity for reuse and sustainability. Each solution in this catalog is presented, is also available online, is presented with technical feature, environment benefits, description, and practical example for different urban contexts, from small villages to metropolitan areas like in Rome. We are working in urban. This catalog is designed as a practical and user-friendly tool for public authorities in particular and other stakeholders also. Each nature-based solution is presented in a concise two-page format with a simple description and illustrative scheme with an application scale such as managing storm water, improving water quality, supporting biodiversity, and offering recreational spaces, for example. Potential potentiality for using of this catalog is also for professionals seeking more technical details, references, and provided to solutions for the community. Overall, the catalog allows users to quickly understand better which NBS can be applied where and what advantages and challenges they bring. In urban, we have, as I said, the two public buildings become water producers. In Rome, in Italy, we have the Matteo Ricci School. That's a public buildings, and another public buildings in Portugal, in Cuba, in particular, managed by our partners, make it better. In Rome, the project transformed the school with the paved entrance courtyard in a garden multifunctional space area. This includes rainwater harvesting through rain garden to irrigate new trees, grey water treatment in a constructed wetland for potential reuse in toilets, and enhanced pedestrian and recreational areas for students and the community. So additional climate, water quality, and usage are carefully monitored in order to create a space for learn from these solutions. Yes, the aim is create an opportunity to awareness on water protection, improve biodiversity, and provide shaded, enjoyable spaces for the public. In Cuba, the pilot targets is a public building in the Alantejo region. Here, intervention include a green roof with drought-tolerant plants and climbing vegetation, a rain garden to manage runoff, and sweeper, meaning to pre-treat grey water from nearby homes, which is then reused for irrigation and toilets. So the outdoor area is enhanced with the vegetated seating, a pergola, and a shaded zone for visitors. It is very important to underline that both pilots will also produce 3D rendering. So not only to visualize the interventions, but also to support communication and dissemination. For that reason, it is expected a replicability of this solution in 5 other cities actively engaged in co-design climate adaptation roadmap, where decision makers, local authorities, technicians, and citizens work together to integrate multifunctional NBS into urban planning, using also urban methodology to address climate change and strengthen resilience. Finally, we will produce an enable pack that is a tool in order to spread the knowledge about the implementation of NBS in Europe and also in other regions, but often often lack a capacity or resources or clarity about NBS. So with this enable pack, we want to move from pilots to practice. The idea is to capitalize the knowledge gained from previous also EU projects and the new pilots in Rome and Cuba, and turn it into ready-to-use package. It will combine concrete demonstration of nature-based solutions, digital tools like decision support system and digital twins, and at least 5 master plan that guide the long-term urban generation. But beyond the technical side, the Enable Pack is really about helping local authorities and communities co-design solution, understand the multiple benefits, and find financial and regulatory tools to make them replicable. In short, in a sentence, we can say that it's a bridge between experimentation and mainstreaming of nature-based solution in our cities. So thank you very much for your attention, and I remain for any kind of question. Thank you, Patras.
Yes, thank you, Giorgio, for this nice presentation. Since we are late in time for a question session, I think we can move to our interactive poll part of this session. However, you can write your questions in the Q&A tool of this in the Zoom, and later, if there is time, we can comment on this in our panel discussion. So now I think we can move to the part of the interactive poll. So, dear Abra, would you please show us the interactive poll? Yes. So we would like to invite you to answer this interactive poll, and later we show you the results of your answers. So mainly, would like to ask which of the following shows you down the most when starting or scaling a renewable energy or NDS solutions. There is a list of different challenges from the economical point of view or the social point of view, etc. You can also scan the QR code to provide your answers. So we can give you some time to answer this poll, and then we'll show the results and move to the next session. Okay, maybe we can wait a few seconds and then show the results. So can we show the results and then move to, okay, that's nice. We have different answers, so there are different difficulties or challenges, different regions. I think this will help all of us to think about our projects. So now I think we can move to the next session. Again, I would like to thank all the previous speakers for their insightful presentations. And now let's continue with the session number 2, which is titled Tools and Technologies for Resilient Energy Communities. Again, we will have 2 talks, 2 different presentations, and then a Q&A and a poll session. So our first presentation in this session is from Ms. Yolanda Nicolau Abad and Mr. Francesco Filippi, representing the Log Greener project and the Valencia Federation of Municipalities and Provinces. Ms. Nicolau is a project coordinator working on local governance and green energy, and Mr. Filippi is Director of Operations at Musol Foundation, focusing on sustainability and local innovation. Their presentation is titled Local Energy Transition Planning and Enabling Tools. So I would like to welcome you both, and the floor is yours.
Thank you, Petros. Good morning, everyone. I share the presentation. Okay. Okay. First, I would like to thank to the EnerCmed project to invite us to present and share with you the Logreener toolkit for local energy transition planning. Logreener is the Composing Local Green Energy Transition project. The main objective of the project is to improve the capacities of local authorities to plan and implement energy transition local plans through the creation of an integral and optimized toolkit that is based in the results of 3 previous Interreg MED projects, Compose, PRISMI, and Local for Green. The target group of Logreener are local authorities and also key multiplier stakeholders like associations of municipalities, regional authorities, and any kind of entity, organization that supports municipalities in the energy planning. Our project, Logreener, is a transfer project. Is the upscaled and updated addition of the tools produced by Compose, PRISMI, and Local for Green. The tool of Compose is a platform with tools and resources to foster more efficient implementation of the energy planning. PRISMI created a toolbox to identify the most promising renewable energy sources for being exploited in each territory and to collect the data for energy planning. And Local for Green produced tools to design and implement innovative local fiscal policies to promote RES. You have here how Logreener works. We have in our partnership, we have technical partners that were also partners in the projects we are capitalizing. In Spain, the organization I represent is the Valencia Federation of Municipalities and Provinces, that is the lead partner. And we have Musol Foundation as technical partner. In Croatia, we have University of Zagreb as technical partner and also partner from PRISMI project. And in Greece, we have the Technical University as technical partner and also partner from Compose. Also, we have multiplier partners to ensure the transferring of the Logreener outputs. In Italy, the Unso Lazio, an association of municipalities. In Croatia, Linear Network, a local action group. In Slovenia, LIAS, that is a local energy agency. And in Bosnia-Herzegovina, the Zenica de Boc Canton, that is a regional authority. In addition, we have associated municipalities in the project that we call the receiver municipalities, where the toolkit of the project is being applied. We have one municipality in each partner country, and we have other associated partners like other municipalities, regional authorities, and so on. As main Logreener activities, we have 3 work packages. In the work package 1, we have the main product of the project, that is the Logreener toolkit. We have to produce also training. We have produced a training pack on the use of the toolkit to develop the training activities in the work package 1. Training activities addressed to local authorities and key in work package 2. Sorry. Training activities to local authorities and key multiplier stakeholders, and to apply the toolkit in the receiver municipalities, as I said before, trying to engage the policymakers to uptake the energy transition plans that we draft using our toolkit. In the work package 3, we have activities of communication of the toolkit in relevant events. We are drafting international and national policy recommendations. And also we are designing and implementing technical impact amplification strategies addressed to the mapped policymakers and key stakeholders. And at this point, I give the floor to my colleague Francesco Filippi to continue with the presentation.
Good morning. Thank you, Yolanda. Good morning, everybody. And I also would like to thank EnerCmed project to give us the opportunity to present Logreener main output. It means the toolkit that, as Yolanda already mentioned, is the result of merging the main outputs of 3 projects, Compose, use local for green and Prismi. It was really a win-win approach because Compose project gave us already very comprehensive toolkit that was where was easy to integrate, to include the local for green and Prismi content. But Prismi and Local for Green contributed to complement the Compose toolkit with some tools that covered areas that were not previously included in the Compose toolkit. For instance, Prismi included in the Compose toolkit a tool to draft renewable resources scenarios that are very useful at the planning stage when we are planning the local energy transition strategies. And the Local for Green provided a wide range of fiscal policies to promote energy transition. The Compose toolkit did not consider before the green taxation as a tool, and it was the main contribution of the Local for Green project. The result of this integration, in the next slide, is this circular pie, let's say, inspired in the classic Plan, Do, Check, Act cycle, where you can find 6 clear steps that cover all the phases of the local energy transition planning, but also monitoring and evaluation. In that sense, the toolkit is really comprehensive, integral. That is one of the feature of the toolkit that, in our opinion, is the most interesting one, because when a local authority wants to start planning a local energy transition strategy, can really find a very complete repository of tools for each of these 6 steps, and can use the toolkit through all the process. For each of these 6 steps, you can click on each of them, and you can find a very comprehensive repository of tools, methodology, and also bibliography. If we go to the next slide, for instance, if you click on the first step, choosing a problem, you can find a couple of sub-chapters identifying the local energy needs and estimating the local renewable resource and efficiency potential. And if you go to the estimating the local energy source, renewable resource and efficiency potential, here you can find for each kind of renewable resource, for instance, a lot of tools, most of them online, that you can use to assess and estimate such topics in order to prepare the information for a proper energy transition local plan. Where we have included the Prismi and the Local for Green contents. If we go to the next slide, the green taxation is useful, especially to engage to engage stakeholders, especially private stakeholders. I mean, companies and citizens all pay some kind of taxes. Many taxes and fees are paid to the local authority, and the Local for Green project included in this toolkit 2 main tools. On one side, we included the methodology we used to design green taxation at local level. It's a 20 steps methodology. It entails, for instance, the legal feasibility assessment, the economic impact assessment. Of course, we need to know if we can modify taxes, fees, or we can put in place new taxes or fees at the municipal level, but we also need to know if what is the impact of these taxes and fees in the local authority budget in terms of increase or decrease of the fiscal revenues. Most of the fiscal models that we have designed according to this methodology, 20-step methodology, are fiscal incentives. It means reduction of taxes and fees for those taxpayers that have implemented at home or at their companies some renewable resources. So the first part is the methodology, the complete one with all the 20 steps. It's fully described in a handbook. The second part is the collection of all the fiscal models. I mean, the concrete fiscal policies. It means the creation of new taxes and fees that in some case was possible, and the modification of existing taxes and fees at a municipal level. And all these models that are described in this fiche that you can see, 3 of them here in the slide, all these models have been tested in the previous project. It means that we know that they are feasible and they have been put in place, and most of them are still working, let's say. So they can easily be adapted to other municipalities. This is the integration of the content of the local for green into the toolkit. The PRISMI content, if you go to the next slide, it has been included in the step 3, the drafting of the local action plan, that is where we need a tool for modeling renewable energy scenarios. If you enter in this chapter, you can find the online tool of PRISMI, and also the Excel table that you can download and use in your municipality to support the local action plan drafting at a local level. The toolkit, the whole toolkit, or part of it, has been already tested in several municipalities. It has been very useful for local authorities that joined the Covenant Measure for Climate and Energy in order to draft their SECAP. It is one of the most common application of the toolkit, but it's not the only one, of course. Well, just a few words to close my presentation. The Low Greener project produced the toolkit with a very intense work of integration of the different projects that I have explained. But we are actually applying right now the toolkit in different municipalities. For instance, here in Spain, the Valencia Federation of Municipalities and Provinces and Musol Foundation, we are applying the toolkit in the municipality of Ribarroja, that was unfortunately affected by the floods last year. And so we are using the toolkit to embed the energy transition into the reconstruction process of some municipal buildings that were affected by the flooding. If we go to the last slide, please. This process of application of the toolkit entails a training process. I mentioned the training process because it was given to the specific receiver municipalities, but also the training has been recorded, and it is available for everybody who wants to apply the toolkit, and it will be available in the Euro-MED Academy, I hope soon. So all the community can use the training material to understand how to use the toolkit with more details. We are also providing technical support to use the toolkit, of course, to the municipalities the specific municipality where we are applying it. But we are also open to receive more, let's say, technical support requires. And until the end of the project, it means until December of this year, we will be able to provide some technical support to the organization that want to apply the toolkit. Last but not least, I would like to mention that we are extracting some, say, policy recommendation from the application of the toolkit. Some of them are national-based, but some of them, one of them especially, is an international policy recommendation. And here I would like to close my presentation, also informing that we are considering addressing the covenant of merger of climate and energy with a international policy recommendation extracted by the application of the toolkit. And we are not only open, but we are actively looking for synergy and collaboration with other thematic projects in order to jointly draft a policy recommendation for this organization, for the Covenant of Measure for Climate and Energy. So if someone is interested in working together, drafting together this kind of policy recommendation, please contact us, Yolanda or me, and we are really glad to try to collaborate with you to build, to draft a stronger and impactful policy recommendation. Thank you.
Okay, thank you both, Yolanda and Francesco, for this nice presentation. Again, I would like to invite our attendees to write their questions in Q&A tool. And now I would like to invite Mr. Pablo Palomo Torralba from the Renew Port Project and Foundation Valencia Port for his presentation. Mr. Palomo is part of the innovation team at Valencia Port and brings expertise in port management and R&D in energy monitoring and integration. His talk is titled Digital Solutions for Energy Management, Tracking, Monitoring and Integration. So, Pablo, the floor is yours. Thank you for coming.
Thank you very much, Petros, for the introduction. Do you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, and thank you also, EnerCmed project, for the invitation. Good morning to everybody. First of all, I want to present our entity. Fundación Valencia Port is the Center for Research, Innovation, Training, and International Cooperation in Port Logistics Cluster. It is an initiative of the Port Authority of Valencia, bringing the most important companies of the port, universities of the city of Valencia, and institutions of the region. It has already developed more than 300 projects in more than 60 countries, mainly in the Mediterranean area, Europe, and Latin America. Our main activity is the promotion of the innovation through the implementation and execution of R&D and I projects. We have also an important human team to manage a lot of training courses, especially our Master in Port and Shipping Management that we teach not only in Spain, but also in some American countries such as Brazil or Argentina. In these countries, we manage also an active cooperation, and we support Spanish logistics operators undergoing a process of internationalization. We manage a market intelligence service that develops indexes, databases, and reports as the Valencia Containerized Freight Index that reflects the evolution of rates in the market for the export of full containers from the Port of Valencia. Finally, we support also the port logistics community, encouraging cooperation within the sector. We work in 6 main areas. First, market intelligence with market, sectoral, and interland analysis, market alerts, and analysis of policies and regulations impacting on shipping and ports. Port logistics that includes projects on port integration in global supply chains, port connectivity with the interland, and standardization, optimization, and flexibility of port logistics operation.
Hello, Pablo. Mr. Palomo, sorry. If you can
Yes.
share your screen. We can hear you and see you very well, but not see your screen.
Oh, sorry, yes. Now?
Not yet?
Not yet?
Not yet.
And now?
Okay.
Yes, now we can see your screen.
You can see the screen?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Okay, sorry. Well, okay. Continue with the presentation of the Fundación. We work also in digital transformation that includes developments in collaborative environments, projects on technologies for traceability, control towers, and digital transformation plans. We work also in energy transition and sustainability with innovative projects in electrification and renewable production as Renewport, circular economy and adaptation to climate change, security and protection with several projects in management of emergencies, advanced surveillance and control systems and cybersecurity. And finally, we work also on blue economy with projects in marine and coastal ecotourism, protection of the seas, and biodiversity of new professional profiles. After this brief introduction of Fundación Valencia Port, I'm going to introduce you Renewport project. The full title of the project is Harnessing Renewable Energy Potential for Clean Energy Transition of MED Ports, which gives you already a good idea of what the project objective is. Renewport aims to tackle the challenge of climate change mission through the exploitation of renewable energy sources in MED ports. Ports promote maritime transport instead of road transport, especially in some areas of Europe, and maritime transport is the most environmentally friendly way of transport. Nevertheless, ports are located near the cities and they contribute to climate change by emitting CO2. So we have to work on reducing CO2 emissions and anything else that could be a problem for citizens living nearby. Renewport supports MED ports, turning them from emitters of pollutants and greenhouse gases to clean energy hubs by exploiting the untapped potential of renewable energy sources. Policymakers will be endowed with new solutions, supporting them to fight climate change, reaching energy goals and carbon neutrality, and citizens will benefit from cleaner air. The project has 10 partners. The majority of them are port authority in 8 different MED countries, from Spain to Greece, through France, Italy, Slovenia, Croatia, Montenegro, and Albania. The leader is the Port Authority of Eastern Adriatic Sea, whose main port is Trieste, in Italy. The project started already in January last year and will finish in 1 year, in September next year, and it is co-funded by the Interreg Euro-MED program as the EnerCmed project. The project is divided in 3 main activities. The first one is the development of a toolkit that I'm going to present you just in a minute. The second one will consist of the testing of renewable energy options in MED ports. Each port participating in the project will implement concrete pilot activities and investments testing the use of renewable energy sources in different scenarios and contexts. At the end, the partners will scale up and transfer the project solutions to other ports and companies. The toolkit is conceived as a practical, user-friendly resource for port authorities, energy technicians, and other stakeholders to identify how much electricity can be generated on-site from renewable sources, given each port's local characteristics and energy needs. By providing tailored guidance and calculations, the toolkit serves as a powerful planning aid for ports to map out renewable installations and meet sustainability targets in line with climate goals. The main characteristics in line with climate goals the main characteristics of the toolkit, are represented in this diagram. It takes the form of a web tool linked to the project's website. It provides practical advice, guidance, information, and calculation of the potential of renewable energy sources used for MED ports. It gives information about the photovoltaic generation using the PVGs tool developed by the European Council Joint Research Center, and gives also information about the wind energy generation, obtaining data from the site of Global Wind Atlas. A map is used to select the location of the port to be studied. It represents a monthly estimate of the energy production for 1 year by each installation and also aggregated for all the installations. The results can be displayed or downloaded, and the toolkit allows access to all internet users. We have identified and non-identified users. This is the landing page of the toolkit. From this page, it is possible to load previously created studies or initiate a new one. Access to the reports of the last study, if also available, provided that the study has already been created. Under the Studies drop-down menu, we have access to the created or public studies, to the possibility to create a new study, and to the comparison of 2 selected studies. Under the Settings drop-down menu, we can display the list of users, the list of ports already registered, a list of photovoltaic panels to be used, and a list of wind turbines. In the 4 cases, we have the possibility to create or register new items in the list: users, ports, panels, and turbines. Upon accessing the ports section, all previously created ports are listed. By the moment, we are only working with MED projects, as you can see in the image, but we expect to enlarge the geographical scope in the future. When you access to an already defined study, or you define a new one, you are able to create, edit, or delete both wind and photovoltaic installations. You can define a photovoltaic installation with these characteristics: name of the panel and the characteristics of this particular panel, geographical situation, the azimuth, the inclination, and the loss expected. If you don't know some of the data, the toolkit offers you by default. And if you want to add a wind installation, you can define some characteristics and the name of the turbine, and also the characteristics of this turbine, the geographical situation, the hub age, and the number of turbines you want to install. When you finish to define the installations, you can ask for a report, and the tool will present you a report like this. All graphs are interactive. Hovering over data points reveals detailed monthly statistics. In the monthly range production section, buttons allow for the display of individual study graphs in a floating window. At the bottom of the page of the report, a summary table presents a concise overview of all the study data: the names of the installations, the type, the equipment used, the quantity of this equipment, the surface used, and of course, the yearly energy production. There is also a compare section that allows for the comparison of 2 selected studies. It gives you information of the energy produced by each study and the main data of this energy. And you can access to the tool through these links: renewport.digiport.com.s. You can find the link also in the website of the Renewport project in the website of the Interreg Euro-MED program. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you, Pablo, for this nice presentation. We can move directly to our second interactive poll. In the meantime, you can write your questions in the Q&A box. So now I would like to ask you to answer in our second poll. You will find it shortly in your screen. So the question is about how ready is your organization or institution or your community to plan its next renewable energy community using basic digital tools like maps, demand data, simple scenarios, etc. You can scan the QR code and provide your answer, and shortly we will see the answers in a pie chart. Few more seconds for your answers. I think or you have the chance to answer to this. Okay. So since we're a little bit late, we can see the results and move to our next session. Can we see the results now? Good. Okay, thank you all for your participation. I would like to thank the speakers for their presentations. And now I would like to give the floor to my colleague Augusto, who will moderate the next two sessions for this conference. So, Augusto, the floor is yours. Thank you.
Thank you, Petros. Welcome, everyone, to this third session that is related to unlocking the transition, financial management, and policy instruments. We will have two talks and a small question and answer session. We will be on time for sure. And after this session, we will have 10 minutes as a coffee break. Then let me introduce Mr. Ivan Kubek from the National Energy Cluster, who will talk about how to make the energy communities work and how to choose the right model. Mr. Ivan Kubek, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Johan. So let me greet you from Slovakia. Good morning. Buongiorno, Yasa Stinelada, Dobre Utro. But I will not greet all the nations because we will spend here a long time because here plenty of us are from different parts of the Europe. So what is the common and important is the EC's problematic topic, and I would like to just share some information with you. I will start with the print screen, if you let me. Okay, here we go. Presentation. It works? I think that it works. Okay, let me introduce our organization. We are cluster, National Energy Cluster.
Presentation mode, please. Thank you.
Yep, okay, it works. Okay, so here is the some facts about the National Energy Cluster situated in Bratislava. We have 3 offices in Košice, Nitra, and Bratislava. We have something about, wait, where I am, I will go here. Here. We have 47 members and something about 8,000 people are employed in our organizations, but we are cluster, non-profit organization, as you know it from your environment. Our returns in this firm is something about 350 million euros. Of course, it doesn't matter that we have this money. We don't have this money, but our members, they have. So let
Sorry, Ivan.
Yes, excuse me, Ivan. Can you share your screen in full screen mode?
I have it on my phone. Wait. So this is not good here. How it works? I don't see. I have it on full screen. Probably I will go to another. Yeah. Is it better?
Yes, better. Thank you.
Better. Okay. So I talked about the cluster neck. So let's find some more information about the. You already know what this energy community is. I don't know how far you are in the project. If I knew it before, it's my mistake. I could be more concrete and more specific on some themes. So I will just resume some facts because Tamara Todorovic had a perfect presentation. We are working on the same project, EnerCmed project. So we are as far as she is. So I could do my presentation much more focused on some themes. Now it will be a little bit general. Okay, sorry for that. So when we take seriously topic of ECs, we must define some problems and some issues. Yeah. At first, for example, in Slovakia, it's in the beginning, but last year we had 2 communities. Now we have much more. We have 7. And I will, in my presentation, even mention why is this happening, how it works, and what are the crucial problems and processes. We have 2 crucial partners in when you want to establish the EC community. First is, of course, some regulatory office. It's not ministry, but there is office who gives you a permission to establish, who gives you the certification, etc., etc. Then the second is, of course, Ministry of Economy and other ministries who are involved in this topic. We would like to really precisely define competencies. In this study, in EnerCmed project, we were analyzing 12 countries, and we found out with Tamara that problems are almost the same everywhere, except the 2 countries, for example, or 3 countries. So we didn't have a partner from Italy, so I don't know what is the situation there. But for example, Austria and Germany, they are much far away. They know how to do it. They have already 3,000 communities based in villages, in the seaside, in the capital cities everywhere. So they know how to do it, but they were also dealing with the same stuffs and issues and problems with the legislative, legal forms, and all the processes around. So if we compare the EU legislation, we see really 3 groups of the states. Some of them they are far, some of them they are somewhere in the middle, some of them are really in the beginner. We were beginner last year, but after the big pressure and a lot of work and a lot of discussion conferences, we start to share the electricity in the Slovakia between the balancing groups. So it means that we can share electricity 200 kilometers working already communities or even the households. So it was first good sign that something is going on. Yeah. In the beginning of this year, even the Ministry of Economy allowed to EC communities like participants and holders for a subsidy, for a green holds, for a green transition, for a green SMEs. So we are allowed to take a subsidy. It's not too much, but for the beginning, for example, 50% of contribution and 45,000 euros can help to create and to establish energy community. This is also beginning. What does it mean? For example, for households. For example, for households, we specified that there is a very good, for example, legal form is association, yeah, or non-profit organization. It means they can share the energy in their houses, in their housing projects. They can get much more closer, for example, like citizens. And this association, they have a very nice and very open rules. What is the problem? If they don't take the subsidy, they must take, for example, credit loan, whatever, some hypothec in the bank. Till now, or since today, they were not visible for the banks. But for example, we prefer and we recommend to these newborn ECs to go for this process like a association of the households, because the banks see the households, because as every bank, for example, for financing, they need some guarantor. Yeah, they need all property or guarantor, etc., etc. So, but anyway, this can be also kind of way or the way how to create the energy community. Another important facts that happened last week, I would like to update what Tamara said. In Slovakia, from the last week, they published and they put in a practice new law, new energy law with amendment, and even include in the energy community the members or the supplier can share and can invoice the consumption or production. This is very crucial fact, because before they were allowed to invoice, for example, for energy, just distributors or producers and some other institutions, but not energy communities. This situation was changed, and it, like it says, we have now hands open. If we will define at the same time and reduce many restrictions blocking the possibility, of course, you go for intelligent measuring, connecting energy communities, etc., etc. But we have also some, and I saw in a practice, very good example of the good practice, for example, in Luce. Last week, Tamara was there with me, and we saw if you cannot deal it with the institution, you must find a partner. And for example, there the energy community was covered by, let's say, a rich firm. They invest the money, they invest everything, they create all the system, they create even, I think that it was also incinerator, or it wasn't, it was another energy community, but they create everything. They just connect the people. And they set up the same balancing group. So even if regulatory office will charge you or will get you in a charge for the devotions, they have a same supplier. Because with the devotion, we have problems everywhere. If you don't take the proposed volume of the energy, they will charge you and they will put you in fine. Yeah, so you must pay for that. This is very crucial problem. But and then after 1 year, for example, of existing community, you can set or you can define your consumption for whole year. You will sign the contract, and it's almost, I think, it's plus minus 5%. It can be strict done, and you will be not fined by distributors. Of course, distributors, they are always looking for problems. Yeah, we are facing these problems, but this is the way how to deal with them. As for all this general assembly or steering committee, it depends on the form what you choose. If you choose public association or cooperative association, this main board or the board of the management is very easy. But we agree with guys from Germany and Austria, it's usually one-man show. The one man is leading the community. He's measuring, he's signing the deals, etc., etc. Yeah, so it's a question of responsibility. But there can be also much more management if you have money for that. Of course, if you produce enough, and you can even share the surpluses. With the surpluses, we're facing also the problems, and I'm trying even to these new setup communities to find a way how to consume and to consume all energy there. Don't share it somewhere, don't send it somewhere, because what? Distribution company or feed-in tariff system will give you cents. You are buying 1 kilowatt, for example, for 20 cents, but they buy from you for 6 or 7. And even they are looking for a trouble. So we are trying to create the centers and EC communities like a habitat. Waste it there. Don't share it with somebody else if it's necessary and you have a lot of surpluses, but you cannot have. For example, in Slovakia, there's a restriction for it to the grid. You can get just 10 kilowatts per second, not more. You can do less, but you cannot do more. So we are facing the really same problems. And if you need a sustainability, please put also into the system some incinerator for biomass. So this flexibility must be very comprehensive, and you must also, it's good to put even 2-3 and other systems which are not so connected, but the effect is that the system is working and has some sustainability. Yes.
2 minutes.
Okay, I will try to be short and briefly. Okay, let's check the statistic of sharing and the status of community energies entities. We have a 7, as I told you, 2 years ago it was just a 2. Number of sharing groups, we have a 615, and we produce more than 5 gigawatts. But as I mentioned before, we are trying to convince everybody, use it there for your own consumption. This is shared electricity in 2025. In 2024, you see we have a progress. Not too much, but it's like a light at the end of the tunnel, okay? Here are the synergy effects and amount aspects. And for example, we are trying to negotiate all these effects for the survival of EC, and need to take energy and environmental into account, and somehow to share it. If you don't have a legislation for that, try to share the contributions. We are saying that to new established communities. Yeah, also some facts, but I don't have a long time. It's an example of good practice. Energy data centrum works perfect with 50 minutes interval, like everywhere, and you can purchase even the fit in tariff, but I don't recommend it. That's all from my side, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for your attention. Here are the contacts on me and cluster president, Mr. Novotny. If there will be some question, I will stay for panel discussion, so you can put the questions there. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Kubik. Very nice presentation. I think we are facing similar problems in all Europe with different solutions. We don't have so much time for questions, but if you quickly can give us some light about the type of organizations that can assume the energy communities, or the most flexible one from your opinion.
For my opinion, I will do it on my own because we are cluster, and of course, as a policy, we are all employers. So I don't have any other targets on any other issues here. So I will try to combine 2, 3, 5, 6 firms. All of them are my members. So we do the service for free, for example, and we are trying to connect. So we are specialized to network. We are for networking. And I think that that's the way, and if you have this methodology and strategy, you will share it with your members on the General Assembly or a committee steering, wherever we have meetings every month. We have an expert, we have another guys who are involved in the tema, and that's a way how to make a progress, I think.
Thank you.
Pablo will agree. He's also the cluster organization.
Thank you for your insights and for this for sharing this talk with us. I will move to the next speaker, that is Mr. Emanuele Maria Petrucciello from the Koala Company. Koala Company is an innovative startup very active in the development of advanced digital solution for the analysis, development, and management of local energy configurations, with a particular focus on RECs. Then, Mr. Petrucciello, the floor is yours.
Yes. Good morning, everyone.
Hi, Emanuele. Could you please disable virtual background? Okay, so
Yeah.
We will see you. Thank you.
So that seems like a ghost. Okay.
Thanks.
I think that you can see and hear me now.
Yes. We can see you on the screen.
Okay, perfect.
You can go on presentation mode or modalità lettura here on PDF.
Okay. Yes. Okay, perfect. Good morning, everyone. My name is Emanuele Maria Petruzziello, and I'm a co-founder of Koala. Koala is an innovative startup born in 2023 in Apollosa, a small town in southern Italy. When we created Koala, our ambition was not just to launch another company, but to rethink how energy is governed. Coming from a Mediterranean community myself, I know how complex and it can be to balance tradition, innovation, and the urgent need for sustainability. So it was a pleasure for me today to be here with you among partners of Euro-MED ecosystem to discuss about this implementation of the Green Deal in the Mediterranean. That is a region that has immense potential, but also unique challenges. Now we can speak about the energy transition. We often think of technologies, solar panels, batteries, smart grids. They are essential, but they are not the hardest part. The real challenge, in our opinion, is social. We need to ask, how do we translate top-down policies into bottom-up, people-powered movements? And here lies the problem. Our communities face three big obstacles. Regulatory complexity, so citizens and municipalities are lost in a maze of rules. Lack of instruments, too few tools to manage energy sharing, financing, or even engagement, and a skill gap. Many small municipalities, if we talk about public lead renewable energy communities, don't have the technical expertise to push forward the transition. If we don't solve these barriers, the transition risks becoming a beautiful strategy on paper, but on that people can feel in their daily lives. This is why we created Koala, to make the transition practical, local, and democratic. We are building a new model for energy governance based on three key pillars. Social engagement, so citizens and small medium enterprises must take ownership of their energy future. Without them, no transition is possible. Economic empowerment, we help communities generate local value and investment opportunities. So money doesn't flow away, but stays to strengthen the territory. And institutional collaboration. We connect municipalities, university, and civil society into alliances that are real and not just symbolic. And this is not just theory. It is the result of the work carried out over the last 3 years, during which we have set up more than 50 renewable energy communities, in particular in the southern Italy, and particularly in our region, Campania. Engage over 6,000 citizens, families, and business, and mobilized more than 4.5 million grants finance for local communities. This proves that when people are given the right tools, they want to participate and they can co-create the energy system of tomorrow. Yes, let me just give you a concrete example. One of the last projects that we complete was the so-called Greek community of Amalfi Coast. The Amalfi Coast, as everybody knows, is famous worldwide for its beauty, but also fragile and vulnerable. But 6 municipalities, including Amalfi and Positano, decided to join forces with universities and citizens around a common mission to make their region a living laboratory of sustainability. Through Koala, we provided the digital platforms, the engagement strategies, and the governance models to unite them. But this is more than one energy project. It is an integrated green community initiative alongside the energy component. We added the electric mobility and sustainable tourism. So we are experimenting actually with innovative technologies such as producing biogas from dairy farm waste and developing mitigated photovoltaic plants, because everybody knows that we need to preserve the landscape of the coast. The outcome was not just infrastructure, but was a social contract, as we always say. Municipalities worked together, citizens felt included, and universities brought their expertise to the ground. And we talk about local universities. And here's the key lesson, in our opinion: the energy transition cannot be just copy-paste, but each territory needs to in some way has its culture, its pace, its identity. So the Amalfi Coast shows that when you tailor the model to local realities, people embrace it and as they own. But to replicate this model widely, we need supportive policies. Based on our experience, we propose 3 recommendations to the framework, and was that found the facilitators, not only the infrastructure. This is one of the big issues. Solar panel and smart grids and all the technologies are important, but without community organizer, trust builder, and facilitators, the infrastructures remain underused. Prioritize co-governance project. So we must encourage initiative where citizens, local authorities, and private actors share responsibility, not just roles on paper, and create an Euro community of practice. Let us exchange not only technical know-how, but also social innovation practices, the methods that truly activate citizens and make policies alive. So it's not about the technical stuff, but the social, the engagement of the citizens. Because when we talk about renewable energy communities, we are talking about people. There's a small shift, but they can transform how we scale the transition. So at Koala, we believe the energy transition, the Mediterranean, must be community powered, because people are not passive consumers, but active co-creators. Democratic, because energy is not just about kilowatts, but it's about rights and choices. Decentralized, because decisions and benefits should remain close to the people and territories involved. And inclusive, because no village, no countries, no citizen, no region should be left behind. So obviously we are open to dialogue and collaboration with all the actors who share this vision. We truly believe that together we can ensure the Mediterranean becomes a true leader in building a fair and people-driven energy transition. So this is also my email. If you have every question, everything, I'm here, and thank you very much for this opportunity.
Thank you, Mr. Petrucciello. Very nice presentation. For us is very interesting to see that we are finding together a way to implement energy communities in the Mediterranean context. I agree with you that we need to tailor the solution to the community needs, to the local context. But I want to ask you about some details about the innovative financial models that can be scaled up to help the citizens to ensure also that the benefits belong to the community and be received by the community.
Yeah, this is really interesting question. We are working a lot trying to stress the boundaries in terms of financial opportunities. Yeah, we are trying to tailor different solution depends on the energy community. If we have a publicly energy community, we are trying to talk with the government, and for example, in Italy we have a bank that is led by the government. It's called the Cassa Depositi e Prestiti. So it's an Italian institute. We are talking with this institute, trying to find the best solution for municipalities. So if, for example, a municipality wants to build new photovoltaic plants or wind farms, stuff like that, we are trying to talk because we know that municipalities are different from companies. They have different needs, different also way to pay back, for example, the grants and the finances. This is for the municipalities. Also, we are trying to find a way to fit public and private. So we are trying to find, for example, an ethic project financing model in which, for example, we have a third part that finance the plant, and the municipalities give the land, so the place in which to install this energy plant, this power plant, and after 3, 4, 5 years, the ownership of the plants comes to the municipality or to the energy communities. Okay, after they pay back, the plants becomes public, the plane becomes of the communities. And the last one was crowdfunding. We are trying to crowdfund several plants led by the energy communities and in general by all the citizens. Because for example, there's someone that just want to invest 1,100 euros in energy plant, even if it's not part of the energy community, it's not a problem. So we are trying to find different solution, but what we think that every solution needs a strong tailored program, and is really important also the digitalization. This is why we're working a lot on this digital platform and tools, because without digital tools, energy is too difficult for people. So it's really a difficult matter. So we need digital platform and easy platform for everyone.
Thank you for your answer. That we have different aspects that are converging on energy communities for financial models, policy frameworks, and also technology enables as digitalization that can help to implement the energy communities. I want to launch the next Q&A pool. Then please help me to launch this. I thank again to both speakers for this interesting session. Now you can see on your screen this question, and please select your your response. If we have some minutes, we can comment about that. Okay. Please scan the QR code, go to the question. This question is very interesting because we are trying to know what are your needs. Then from the following support, select only those that are most useful for launching your next energy community. Then let's see if you think that is necessary help in preparation and design of projects, project financing or financing support schemes, professional assistance in establishing an entity, administrative and legal services, assistance with establishing and registering a sharing community entity, representation in relation to third parties, or remote operation support services. Okay. We see now some responses. We see that the project financing and financing support schemes is one of the most required areas in this moment. And I think that with our project and the tools that we are providing, we can tackle some of these needs. I received one question. Then in the chat, then please try to answer this. How can policy and funding programs better support the human infrastructure who are essential for long-term democratic participation in the energy transition? And please, Emmanuel or Ivan, if you want to comment this. I repeat the question. How can policy and funding programs better support the human infrastructure that is essential for long-term democratic participation in the energy transition? And I think...
If I can.
Please, Ivan.
Yeah, just with the 2 seconds. Yeah, there's a question of who are you dealing with? If you go, for example, for cooperation with municipality, they have a very strict rules. Yes, the concept must be, it's about the, for example, votes. Who has a recognizable function and who is the leading of the project? Because if you go with cooperation with the municipality, you want to share it with the garden school, or you want to just to set all the system there. You must deal first with good people in your environment, and also like opponents, because opponents are offices and also potential members of the community. But for example, we have a very good and also bad experiences with the municipalities, because they need a time. If you want to set up, you want to even convince them, they must to have a general assembly, etc., and it takes a time. So the question is if they will have a one vote or they will have a percentage. Because if you will take a municipality like a partner, the consumption and production will go 40% to them. So that's the issue, yeah. So in that case, and you have also another some big partners, you must go for association, and it must be voting system. We did 55%, but at second 50% of the profit or financial amount must go back to the community. Because if you have a big players there, they will, let's share this profit. No, it must stay there. This is a community. You have a cheap energy, you have a sustainable energy, but the 50% goes back. So you will set up the island system for, I don't know, with 30 kilowatts. If you, to the end of the year, you save, I don't know, 2,000, 3,000, 5,000 euros again, like a profit. After the coast, you go and you buy another rack system, and your island will have a 40 kilowatts or even 50, 60, or you buy a charger for the cars, and you like just increase your environment. So that's a question. Who are the partners? For me, like a crucial. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Kubek, for your opinion, your answer. We see in the chat also one answer from the Euro-MED project. I don't know if I can read the response. Thanks a lot for your question. I can answer through the Euro-MED project, and the key is to work with communities. Policies and funding should not only support technologies, but also the human infrastructure that sustain participation. Co-design is essential because it teaches institutions and citizens to listen, collaborate, and adapt solutions to real needs. This is what makes democratic engagement in the energy transition last over time. I think we all see the same issues, participation. We see that we are talking about a democratic scheme. And of course, we are focusing on have the profits of the energy community in the community. By this, the main actors in energy community are municipalities, are citizens, are other stakeholders, but can't be the common energy producers because they have already one business model selling energy. And we are trying to develop communities that try to have benefits in the social and environmental level or aspect. Thanks to everyone. We have some minutes for a coffee break, and see you at 11, 12, 20. Then take 6-7 minutes to take one coffee, make some break, and see you in some minutes. Okay, welcome again. We are now starting with the fourth session that is dedicated to engaging people, behavior, equity, and participation. Here we have again two presentations. The first one is in charge of Victoria Pellicer from the Fundación de la Comunidad Valenciana Observatory Valencia del Canvi Climat Power Up. She will talk about social inclusion and vulnerable groups in energy communities. She is an energy officer at Valencia Clima and Energy Municipal Foundation in the city of Valencia. She has professional and academic experience on energy poverty at municipal level. And she's involved in different projects related to the right to energy, has a long activist career in the field of energy cooperativism and energy transition. Ms. Pellicer, the floor is you. Thank you to be here.
Thank you very much. Can you see properly, yeah, the presentation?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. So thank you very much for the invitation. It's a pleasure for me to be here sharing with you our learnings and reflections and failures about this challenging topic about engaging people, especially engaging people living in vulnerability situation in our energy community projects. Thanks for the introduction. My name is Victoria Pellicer. I'm working at Valencia Climate Energy, as you already mentioned. Most of you already know us because we are also members of EnerCmed project through my colleague Pilar Jordà. So double pleasure to be here in your midterm conference. First of all, I would like to give you a few insights about our national context and local, especially our local context. Not going in depth to go about energy poverty in Europe because you are already working on this, but we all know it's a fact, about really problem facing about 38 million of people. In Spain, we have similar figures. About 16% of the population dedicates a high share of their income to pay their energy expenditure. And now it's our second national strategy is under development. The first draft has been published now. We are in the time to could give some contributions. And we've seen there are already 12 measures to fight against energy poverty. And one of it is to use energy communities as a tool to fight against energy poverty, which this I mean that we are on the weird way, or our projects are being really inspirational for then building on the construction of of policies, national and also local. In our case, we also face similar figure. About 13% of the population is in energy poverty with this indicator. We've been working for a long while in energy poverty in our city. In our city, we have opened what we call the energy offices, which are these one-stop shops from where we could give advice to citizens in energy-related issues, and especially to citizens living in energy vulnerability. We have 3 offices in the city. We've done a diagnosis of the problem in our city, trying to understand where the energy poverty is. And now as well, the same happens at the national level. We also are developing our municipal strategy, compiling different measures, and one of it is also about this, how energy communities and in general energy renewables can be a powerful tool to fight against energy poverty. So in this context, we are developing 2 different pilots I want to share with you today. I'm not going in depth to explain the pilots, but explain how we are engaging vulnerable people, because it's the topic of my talk. And this we are doing in the framework of another European project called Power Up, who has helped us to design these models and to design them and with this social justice perspective. Just a few mention of Power Up. It's also on Horizon 2020. We have 4 pilots and 2 replicator cities, and the coordinator is Energy City. And well, we have all the information in the website, and I've built this presentation with information and with some of the deliverables that are published in our web, so you can go there and well, so those of you who want to know further, the deliverable is there, so in the website is all published. So about our 2 models, now I go to explain the 2 pilots, because in Valencia we are trying to do this, use energy renewables for vulnerable people in 2 different models. The first one are the energy communities, okay, inclusive energy communities. In Valencia, we have already constituted about 12 energy communities. When constituted, that means that the group is formed, the citizens have joined, have formed their association, cooperative, whatever, and now they are looking for a roof to install their PV plant. So the municipality asks, we have to say, okay, how we can design a model also for people with less resources. So we say, okay, we can offer our public roof, which is a public good, in a public tender for these communities, but with the condition that a part of this production needs to be shared with energy vulnerable people. We are not asking the citizens of the communities to be the ones who select the households. This will be us who will do it with social services municipality. So this is one model. Let's say the public roofs with the condition to be shared, public roofs for energy communities, but with the participation of vulnerable people. And the second model is a more top-down, okay? The other one was more bottom-up. This is more top-down. It is us, the municipality, who are installing PV plants on the roofs of our municipal cemeteries. This is what we call our project Requiem in Power, for the acronym RIP, and people remember this name. So in this case, the production will be dedicated for the municipal buildings around the installation, around the 2 kilometers, which is our legislation in Spain. In Spain, we can share energy around the 2 kilometers, and also with vulnerable households. The 25% of the production will be shared in vulnerable households. The production is quite huge, about 3 megawatts. So we calculate that about 800 vulnerable people could be benefited from this model. Again, it will be us, the municipality, specifically the social services, who will identify these households and decide who is eligible or not to join this model. So, well, I could be speaking a lot about the models, but I think it's more interesting to give a few insights about our experiences on including these households in our schemes, how communicating with them, and so on, which is the topic of the session, engaging people. So I have 3 slides, one about inclusion and one about communication. About inclusion, well, we know there are factors that hinder the engagement of people, especially the people who live in difficulties. The scientific literature had already, and practitioners, we all know this, that it exists the mistrust, poverty-related stressors, language-related stressors, lack of willingness, lack of time, lack of motivation, lack of really understanding why is that for, stigma, so on. So all this, we have to have all this in mind when thinking about how to engage vulnerable households. For us, it's as a municipality is key to do it together with social services, because we are not social services, we are energy services in the municipality, but we don't know about vulnerability, let's say, we know about kilowatts. So this needs to be built together with the other department. Build trust, it's key. It has already been said in the previous speakers, the fund your facilitators, what you have already said, and I will repeat this because I think this is the key idea, how to build trust, how to be close, simple, accessible, how also to use the fact that you are going to get in touch with these people and engage them in your one scheme to also go further and do also community building, community support. These pictures you've seen here is one initiative we launched called Right to Energy Citizen School for people. These are people who we were attending them individually in our energy offices and through other European projects. We attended them, we went into their homes, we assessed them in the electricity bill. So we try to go beyond this individual advice in a more community advice, let's say, and we ran different workshops, first related with energy, of course, how to understand your energy bill, how to reduce your consumption, but at the end it were about other topics such as health, alimentation, and other topics that they were interested on. And the idea here in the subground was more build community beyond the issue of the energy. So this is also for us is also key, and also be aware to ensure diversity of membership, and for sure ensure tangible benefits for the participants, that they know that something will be benefit for them, because we ask them to participate in so many things and so on, and the tangible benefit is not that evident at the beginning. These ideas about inclusion, some others ideas about also communication, which is the same, but it's not the same. We have done everything, let's say. We have tried to be in the public space, visible, physical events, also online media, articles, TV, local channels, etc. Also workshops, conferences, etc. We've tried different levels. At the end, the easier, the simplest is the better, like channels, simple channels like WhatsApp, face-to-face, and for sure, trusted intermediaries. As been already said, the other facilitators, we've worked with people who already had built with them the trust. I mean, people who they already trust them, like neighborhoods, general practitioners, schools, church, of course, social services, NGOs, our energy offices, of course, etc. It's not us, the technicians in our offices, who live in front of the computer. No, we are not the people who they know. So we need to work with other key players in order to disseminate the projects. Obviously, the materials needs to be clear, visual, multilingual, etc. So, and with this, I mean that we've tried everything, and some things have worked for some, others have worked for some others, but we need to be everywhere in this sense to communicate. So, to sum up, some key reflections from our experience and also our failures. Face-to-face works best. This is the first reflection. Engaging directly with households is needed for a better understanding. We were very available at the time they couldn't. We adapted to them in order to go and face-to-face explain the projects. Obviously, keep messages simple and concrete, and ensure that the messages are clearly understand what are they being engaged for. This world of energy is very complicated for all of us, so it's not easy to keep messages simple, but we need to do, sometimes it's difficult to do this translation, but we have to do this effort. Lawyers' communication, customize the communication to specific households' needs, because households are vary, as society we are. For sure, maintain consistency, ensure regular and visible communication. This for us has been very challenging because the project has, in fact, is currently being taking as much time as we initially thought, because the installation is not still connected. So we contacted households long time ago, engaged them in our model, told him that maybe in 2 months or 3 months we'll be connected. That has not happened. So what do I do in order to maintain this trust 1 year later? So continue present, informing, and making being visible, to give them the chance to ask and ask, hey, what about that project? Exactly. So this is the problem, this is happening, etc. And continue giving them some tangible benefits like these workshops or other connections with other community actors. So then build partnerships, collaborate, I already said, but it's key, collaborated with trusted local organizations. This is also key. Of course, be flexible and able to adapt to changes, because we are playing in a world which is changing, not daily, but for example, here in Spain, I've said that we can share the energy in the 2 kilometers radius, but maybe change soon to 5 kilometers. So all our strategy of communication, of engaging with people and with NGOs and with facilitators in these 2 kilometers changes. So we need to adapt, because now we could arrive to other people, etc. And provide a clear call to action, offer specific and actionable steps for the household. So, and to close, if I would be very keen to know how are you doing, and which are your recommendations to replicate. I know you and your cities are also replicating this, doing also this, or wanting to replicate. I don't know. I don't have a recipe. No, replication is not one size fits. Flexibility is key, depends on its context. But so this is difficult to give some lessons. But from our experience, I would say that we need to know that this needs time and capacity. It requires significant time if we want to really engage. It's very, very, very important to take care the how, not as many the what, but the how. How do we communicate? How do we build that trust? How do we inform? How do we maintain the information if the project is not happening as we thought it was? Be patient. These are long processes, very long, but also long-term impact. PV installations takes a long 25, 30 years, so it's worthy, but yeah, be patient and be flexible, and for sure, and take the advantage of other complementary projects, like for example, EnerCmed brings and fits all this strategy to our other projects, because this can strengthen impact. And this last, I know, is very difficult, but try to find consensus in your cities, because in order to achieve that this is a city project and not a project only depending on the government currently in the municipality. So it could, if we find this consensus, it's easier to go beyond these political cycles. And well, I think it's 15 minutes. I passed my time. Thank you very much. So I close here. Thank you very much. And
thank you, Ms. Pellicer. Very nice presentation. We have a lot of lessons to learn, because you have very interesting experience in Valencia. Maybe if we have times at the end of the session, we can discuss a little. Let me introduce our next speaker to try to be on time. We have here Ms. Ivana Mihaljevic from the Nudges project. And she will talk about changing energy habits, how behaviors make the difference. She comes from a background in humanities and social sciences and work in transnational projects. Okay, the floor is yours. Thank you.
Thank you so much for the introduction. Hello, everybody. My name is Ivana. My surname is Mihaljevic. I know that people usually have troubles with Slavic names and surnames, but yeah, it was perfect. Okay, I believe now you see my presentation.
Yes,
I would like to thank once again Emanuela and the EnerCmed project for the invitation and for a really great organization of the conference. If I'm not wrong, we have almost 100 participants present, so it's a quite an impressive number, and congratulations on that. I'm a project manager and consultant in Knowledge Network. It's a Zagreb-based consulting company, but here I am I'm talking as a communication officer of Nudges project. I have some other colleagues from Nudges project here with me, so maybe later in the Q&A sessions they can also join. Today's topic is changing energy habits and how behavior makes the difference. I will briefly present you our Nudges project. I will explain what nudges are and what climate nudges are. I will share how and actually why we linked emotions and culture with climate action. And in the end, of course, close with few takeaways. So let me tell you about our Nudges project. It's a Interreg Euro-MED thematic project. And our goal is to show how Mediterranean countries can use behavioral strategies, nudging, to improve urban climate policies. To test that, we designed 6 pilot actions. I will talk briefly about them a bit later. And we combine nudging with some cultural interventions using our senses, our 5 senses. We are 8 partners in the project. We have Anetel Development Agency from Larnaca leading the project. We have Musol, Spain, also present here with the Low Greener project. We have Ezavad from Slovenia. We have University Gabriele D'Annunzio from Chieti Pescara, Italy, with behavioral science support behind the project. We have Aristotle University from Thessaloniki. We have Knowledge Network, that's me. We have Preda Development Agency from City of Prijedor. I will tell about them a bit later. And we also have the Museum of Humor and Satire from Gabrovo, Bulgaria. What do we do? Together, we ran the pilots. We are building a community of interest. We will soon publish the Nudges Manifesto, and in the end, we will develop like a replication plan, a transferability plan, so we can replicate our most successful nudges elsewhere. At our core, at our project's core, we have, as I said, behavioral nudges, and we combine them with cultural interventions. Why did we do that? Because we wanted to inspire climate-friendly habits across our countries. We used our senses, all the 5 senses, so sight, sound, smell, touch, and taste, to motivate people to act for the climate. In the box, you see our pilots. We have 6 of them. So we have 5 senses, and then one pilot from Preda is combining more senses in their program. I will tell you a bit more about it later. The idea was clear. So we wanted to make small changes in the surroundings, in the environment, like a special sound, smell, a taste, a visual that can gently guide people toward making more sustainable choices, but without limiting their freedom. I would like to invite you all to visit also Nudge for Green database. It's an online platform designed by our colleagues from Preda, from Preda agency. It's a catalog of green nudges, so you have many examples of green nudges, and you can see how can you use some elements in your environment. I believe it's something very useful for all of us. So let's move to a little bit to the theoretical part behind our project. So what is a nudge? A nudge is defined as a small change in the way choices are presented. And that choice helps people make better decisions, but as I said earlier, without restricting their freedom. It's about shaping the environment, the surroundings, so the easier choice is also the smarter, the more sustainable one, the more green one, let's say. When we talk about nudges, there are a few common techniques, and I believe you are all very familiar with it. So we have the default option. For example, if energy saving settings are switched on automatically, most people will simply keep them. Then there's a simplification, making eco choices easy to understand, like clear labels on recycling bins. For example, in Croatia, and I believe in some other countries, when you see a yellow bin or a yellow bag, you know it's for plastic packaging and for metal cans. In addition, on every yellow can and every yellow bag, there is also a list of items that go there. So it's really simple to follow, right? Social norms. Social norms are very powerful because when people see what other people are doing, they tend to follow. So, for example, I believe in most hotels, in the hotel bathroom, I believe you saw some notes that most guests of the hotel are reusing towels. So it's a way of encouraging you to reuse them too. Feedback. Feedback gives us real-time information like a smart meter showing energy use, so it helps us adjust if needed. And finally, salience, which means making the sustainable choice more visible and more noticeable, such as highlighting energy efficient products in a shop, or for example, in some cafeterias, putting healthy food or healthier option, more sustainable local food are put in eye level, so it's easier to reach for them. So these are just simple changes and they don't restrict your freedom. You are free to choose, but they make the sustainable choice a bit more easy and a bit more natural. Some of the examples that I mentioned in my previous slide, they are already climate nudges, but just to make sure, climate nudges are simply nudges, but designed with the environment in mind. They aim to change everyday habits that directly reduce emissions, like how we travel, how we use energy, or how we handle waste. Once again, the important part of the nudge is that they don't take away choices, but instead they change the setting, so the greener option seems more visible or more natural for you to choose. Why do this? Because, a special saying, one small step for a man, but a big one for mankind. The principle is the same. Even small behavioral shifts like cycling instead of driving or reusing instead of throwing away, it adds up. So when we multiply across a community all those little behavioral shifts, in the end, they can make a real difference for both people and planet. Why did we choose to experiment with culture and emotions? Well, because culture and emotions are powerful drivers of change. When people are engaged in cultural activities like music, art, theater, or food, they build connections. They build identity and a very important sense of belonging. We all love to belong, right? Research shows that those people who participate in cultural activities are also more sensitive to environmental issues and more willing to act sustainably. That's why in our Nudges project, we connect climate action to local culture and senses. When change is tied to emotions and to things that people value in their everyday lives, then the new habits last much longer. In this table, I just wanted to shortly demonstrate nudges and cultural nudges, cultural interventions. The nudges are subtle cues like defaults or feedback, and they steer individual decisions, and mostly they work in short term. In the Nudges project, we focus on cultural nudges because these go deeper. They connect with emotions, identity, shared meaning, and we believe that that helps to create a real long-lasting cultural shifts in our behavior. Our colleagues from University Gabriele D'Annunzio di Chieti Pescara in Italy, they prepared a very thorough methodology of our pilot action implementations, and they prepared surveys that were offered to participants before, during, and after the pilot action implementation, and also after some period of time, in order to track, to monitor the behavioral shifts. Due to the fact that the Nudges is study project and of course time limited and resource limited, our colleagues couldn't monitor and measure a really long-term behavior change, but some very useful data were gathered, and maybe in the future we can have even longer research. So I'm moving through our pilot actions. So we had 6 of them, and today I will talk about 2. I will start with the Spanish pilot. It was called Sound Inspiration. It was implemented by Musol Foundation with the support of the municipality of Madridejos. The focus was on reducing car use by encouraging children and parents to walk to school. So instead of driving all the way, parents were encouraged to park a little further away, and from there they would walk together with children, walk to school, but follow a specially prepared music route to school. Along the way, they could listen to local sounds, they could dance with local and modern music, they could experiment with sound instruments. So they had like different sound installations along the route. So they had a choice, like they could go by car to the school, but if they park a bit further and walk together, they could experience some local sounds. They could do some fun activity before going to school and to work. So through sound, this walking became fun, social, and connected to the local identity. And this simple change was then introduced to prefer walk than drive to school. Let's move to Bosnia. Now, Bosnian and Herzegovinian pilot was called the New Generation Citizens. It was implemented by PREDA, the City of Prijedor Development Agency. And what they did is they worked with 23 children and turned them into eco-heroes. So the approach was different from traditional lessons. Instead of lectures, the children took part in a very well-designed program that lasted for a couple of months, a couple of weeks for sure, maybe 3 months if I'm not mistaken. And it was a series of interactive workshops guided by, again, emotions, senses, and play. The program started in the cinema. You see many very happy kids in the cinema on the photo here. So they were introduced with an animated film about a planet buried in waste and a little robot fighting to save it. I believe you know the story of Wall-E, the little robot. They had popcorn, of course, cinema and popcorn, but our colleagues prepared eco popcorn boxes with some eco messages, so children were nudged into thinking about the environment from the beginning. After that, they, through the program, actually, they followed their eco map. So it was a journey of challenges, and each eco hero needed to different badges along the way. And they also adopted different eco rules. They had some. They talked about simple habits like switching off lights, saving water, recycling, and walking instead of using the car. Here you can see some really nice and funny stickers they made together. They had funny but important and encouraging messages like brush your teeth but don't shower the tap, or superpower, I ride my bike and save the planet, and so on. The kids also created Nudgy the robot, and also Nudgy the robot's story. Nudgy the robot is fighting against Pluto. You can see Pluto here. He's the main villain, of course. And our children created characters in this story and prepared a book. So there is really a book, a whole book with very interesting stories. So the children were drawing characters, and then their designs were used as inspiration for the characters of the story. Our children also became recycling wizards. So they were turning plastic bottles into 3D printed toys. They were gardeners. They planted gardens and also took some herbs, planted herbs to their homes. It is important to mention that their parents and also schools, different schools from City of Prijedor, were actively involved. So it helps and enables actually to have a stronger community impact. Here you can see how children's designs were turned into digital characters by an AI tool. These are all photos from the book, again, designed by our eco-heroes.
1 minute, please.
And okay, and last you have a photo from the diploma award ceremony where you can see our children. So what is the most important here with this pilot is that children not only learned new habits, but they grew into ambassadors of sustainability. They got their story reached the public through different local media, and they felt very proud of themselves. They felt very important and a part of the community. And we believe that this experience is something that will impact their life for sure. In the end, I believe you will get the presentation, so I won't go through all the bullets, but these are some conclusions that we had from our nudges project. What we learned in one sentence is that when nudges are tied to culture and emotions, they go beyond habits. They make climate action feel personal. And we believe that's how real climate-friendly communities can take shape across our beautiful Mediterranean. Thank you for your attention, and I hope to meet you in person someday.
Thank you, Ivana. A very nice presentation. I really like Nadia's project from the first time that I see this project. We have a lot of things to dialogue between all the projects. However, we don't have so much time. Maybe during the roundtable we can discuss. I only want to stress that EU projects are reshaping the citizenship towards a more participating and active citizenship. Thank you, Ivana, for your participation. Thank you, Victoria. If you can, in the last part in the roundtable, we can share some ideas. And now we have a special contribution that I want to introduce Bernard Massavo, that is the Secretary General of the Euro-MED City Network. He will talk us about from local action to policy dialogue and the upcoming Green Living Areas institutional event in Brussels. Please, Bernard, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Perfect. And would it be possible for you to share my presentation? Could you do that for me, or?
Yes, I think yes. I asked to our helping desk to share the presentation.
In the meantime, first I would like to thank the EnerCmed project for inviting us to give a short speech about the institutional policy dialogue project in the frame of the Green Living Areas mission. Also, I would like to congratulate you, because I think this initiative to also invite other thematic projects which are working in a way in the same topic as the one from EnerCmed is a very good thing, because we have to be at a certain time to act in a transversal manner. Then, in fact, to try to explain to you what could be the added value of the institutional policy dialogue project for the thematic project, for the EnerCmed project, but for the other thematic projects. In fact, our mission is twofold. We want to demonstrate that this initiative from the program to try to bring results from the local, from the technical level to the policy level is a very good initiative from the program. And the second objective, which is more concrete for the thematic projects, is to assist the thematic projects in their policy work, let's say. And for that, we, of course, perhaps we can go to the next slide. We need, of course, to understand what you are doing, exchange with you, and also see how we can integrate your results with other existing policy instruments which are existing, and how these other policy instruments could also contribute to your improve in a way your results. So this is the institutional dialogue, institutional policy dialogue process, and the one specific thing to say is that the duration of the governance project, so of the institutional policy dialogue project, is the same as the duration of the programming period, so it's 6-7 years. A little bit more than the duration of your thematic project, so we can go beyond and we can still assist, even if we are aware that it's difficult when a project ends to continue the exchanges. But what we try to do is, within this process, to organize every year policy dialogue and try to highlight some policy instruments. This year we will, in 2 weeks' time, on the 15th and the 16th of October, perhaps we can go to the next slide, we will highlight the results of Low Greener project. I think Low Greener project was participating in your event today and explaining some interesting results. Also, we will highlight the results of the Nudges project. Can we go to the next slide, please? And also, there will be the opportunity for the EnerCmed project to participate in a session dedicated to energy communities with an initiative, with a presentation of an initiative in Catalonia, and also participation or testimony from EU-funded project led by the Emilia-Romagna region in the Western Balkans. So what we try to do is to connect your project, your policy-oriented partners with existing policy instruments. We try to bring some added value and some visibility to the work you are doing, and also this is for at the thematic project level, but also we are willing to work and assist, if possible, the policy-oriented partners of the thematic project, because we think that these policy-oriented partners, for instance, municipalities or regions, could be interested by not only by the results of the thematic project in which they are involved, but also by some other policy instruments from other topics, for instance, mobility compared to energy or environment. And we think that within this process of institutional policy dialogue, we can bring some information, we can bring some examples, which can be adapted and which can be replicated in the territories of these policy-oriented partners. So this is what we try to do, and of course, to conclude on a more concrete way, we are always open to assist the thematic projects in the work they have to do at the policy level. If you have to write a policy brief or any work you will have to do, and for that, in order to try to propose or offer a tool which could be open and very operational, we are on the process of creating and launching a platform for policy instruments, in which you will find your policy instrument, you will find some other external policy instruments which will be also in the agenda of the yearly institutional policy dialogues. And you will be able also to exchange on this platform. If you have a question, we will try to bring you the answer hopefully you are expecting. So we can keep in contact, and we are sure that within this platform you will be able perhaps to also find some additional assistance from our side. Anyway, we are always open to discussion. And for instance, a few weeks ago, we had a discussion with Emanuela Paradvinos regarding your event today, regarding our institutional policy dialogue in 2 weeks' time. And we are very happy that you will be able to participate. And we hope that you will learn from this, at least from this energy communities related session. Thank you very much. I hope I was as clear as possible. If you have questions, I'm available to answer. And congratulations for your event.
Thank you, Mr. Masalo. Now we are just in time. I don't see questions for now. There's only some information about the next institutional policy dialogue, but you share with us the QR codes and the streams. I leave in the comment chat this information. And now I give the word to our colleague Vincenzo Bianco, who is in charge to introduce the roundtable, the final roundtable. Thank you, Mr. Basaro.
Thank you, Augusto. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay, perfect. So now we will run a short roundtable related to the issues, the problems, and the ways to streamline the development of renewable energy communities. To do so, we have 6 interventions, about 5 minutes per interventions of 6 guests. So first of all, I would introduce Stéphane Poffari. I hope the pronunciation is good. I don't know if Stéphane is connected.
Yes.
Okay, Stéphane is the CEO of Energies 2050, and he represents here the EnerCmed project. So, Stéphane, a question for you is, which are from your point of view, which are the main recommendations in order to improve or develop the legal framework for energy community to streamline, their implementation?
Okay, so thank you so much. First for the invitation, and second about the conference, which is really interesting with quite a very diverse perspective from different projects. So I'm speaking on behalf of EnerCmed project. So maybe I will just introduce in 2-3 words EnerCmed project, which is also an Interreg Euro-MED project. And so it means Renewable Energy Community in the Mediterranean region. It includes 11 partners from 9 European Euro-Mediterranean countries, among them universities, municipalities, NGO, agencies. And our objective is to test and scale inclusive renewable energy community in 3 different, let's say, areas: urban, rural, and Iceland. And among others, we are going to develop a transnational cooperation forum. So this is the first point. And so maybe I will try to redesign the question to be provocative, because we have many examples. It's work. So just to say what still needs to be done to accelerate the development of RECs in Europe and beyond. And I will say first, which is quite strange, we have already hundreds and even thousands of examples: cooperative, pilots, regulatory sandbox, a EU-funded project, that's the one we have discussed today, and many other initiatives with a lot of incredible number of publications on that. So we know it's work. So this is the point. We know it's work. And we know also they bring interest, they bring environmental, social, climate, economic benefits. So the question, and it's a good question, how we can duplicate, replicate, and scale up. But the real question will be why why, if we have already such amount of data, why government, and sometimes when it's at their level, local government, are still so reluctant to create enabling condition frameworks that will allow all technical and stakeholders on the consumer side to be part of the story. Because all the good example we have is when the enable conditions are there, and the enable condition is quite well known. Many speakers this morning just already present that at the end, the law is there, but not implemented. The grid is okay, well designed and accessible, but the flexibility is not so endorsed. So we know more or less all the points. So I would say maybe the key enablers, and I will be very short on that. We need for sure stable policies and long-term legislation. If you want to have an example in France, you don't have this perspective. The regulation is very recent, very fragmented, with a lot of block and paradox in the implementation side. So it means we don't have so much renewable energy communities, even if in the law it is stated it is very important for the energy transition. We need also access to finance and fair markets. That's clear. But the finance is not only one single type of finance. It can be blended finance. It can be cooperative finance. It can be a mix. It can be public subsidies. It can be many, many things. It can be priority to access to the grid, tax exemption. It can be a mix, but we need this kind of box of finance to make things enable, working. We need capacity buildings. Let's say yes, okay. Even if we have a lot of material on that, we need to train, to explain, to deliver, to, let's say, incentivize, that's clear. We need local governance and inclusion. Many speakers already spoke on that, that's clear, but it's not enough. We need equity. Some of them already speak about that. It's good also. We need technology endorsement and flexibility, which is quite challenging. But I would say we have so many great examples, but it's working when we have this. And I will give you at the end one big example we are working on. We need also transparency of data, which is something critical. From the full channel, we need transparency. We need also the grid integration and demand side management. And maybe this is a point today we didn't speak so much, but for us, renewable energy communities has also to deal with demand, energy sobriety, energy efficiency, and renewable production and consumption. This is also a point. And at the end, we need replicability, scalability, and long-term governance models. And just one example to demonstrate how we can go far as soon as we have the opportunity. It is not an Interreg project, but there is also a very interesting FEDECOM project. Maybe some of you know it. It's a Horizon Europe project. And in that one, we had the first transnational renewable energy communities. Can you imagine? So technology is there. Knowledge is there. Policy, when they open the market, stakeholders jump in because this is a huge, huge, huge market. And at the end user, whatever it is, the public ones, let's say a company or an end user as a consumer, also they will jump in for many, many different reasons. Some of them will jump by finance interest, some others for climate interest, and blah, blah. But at the end, so I will be very provocative now. We need all the stakeholders to be involved, also to act as a watchdog and to reflect why it's not working. Because if we want to demonstrate evidence, we are going to lose so much time. And for us, at least, Energy 2050, and I assume for many of them, of us around the table today, we really think that renewable energy communities is part of the narrative to transform the pattern of energy consumption and the transition for a just energy transition. So this will be maybe my first, let's say, comments. I don't know if we will have a second round of questions. So if we want to have a systemic transformational patterns, we need to re-ask the narrative and to demonstrate where are the blocking points, to also explain by example that it's working elsewhere and why it's not working there, to demonstrate the locking effect, where it's locking, and how we can overpass this barrier. I hope it was clear, not too long, and thank you for your attention.
Stefan, thank you very much for the interventions. Very interesting, a lot of food for thought. Unfortunately, we don't have long time to discuss these,
I know.
but maybe in future we can organize an ad hoc roundtable to discuss, to go deeper and deeper in these directions. However, you raised a very important point, in my point of view, that we can go deeper with the next speaker, Álvaro Manso Burgos from the Polytechnic University of Valencia, because maybe he can reflect about the key factors in establishing an energy community, including the technical aspects like the demand side aspects, integration renewables, and so on. Álvaro, are you here?
Yes, hello. Hello, Vincenzo. Thank you everybody for having me and for inviting me for this roundtable. Reflect on the essentials for establishing an energy community. The first one goes without saying, that is permissive of even favorable regulatory framework, but you have already discussed that. Also, it's very important because even if the energy communities goals is not financial objectives, it is very important that it is economically viable. So not only we are in lack here because solar energy, wind energy, these projects are very, very profitable. That is also they also need many times access to financing. So there is many problems in accessing to the means for the money. But we can say that these two topics, more or less, we have them covered in the European Union. We have the regulation in place. We have a technology that is very, very profitable, as is solar and wind energy. What we need also is the community per se, no? The people that is going to form this community to participate and to invest in these energy systems. That's why we need public awareness and acceptance. This is something that I am not so sure that we have there yet, because when I tell people around me I research in energy communities, most of them know the term, but some of the times they are like, okay, I have heard about it, but please tell me what's that. So I don't think we are quite there yet. For this, it's very important. All the experience show us that it's very important that the pre-existing of social ties in the communities, it's essential for having like a nuclear core of people promoting these new energy communities. So that will be like the main three characteristics. In the technical side of the technical point of view, I advocate to promote communities that don't only generate energy or power, well, like for instance, a solar energy community. That's probably the most common energy community nowadays. I advocate for energy communities that integrate many systems. It is more complicated in terms of convincing the people of doing this, but it is better for the system because you are going a step forward. Imagine, for instance, you have batteries, or you have electric vehicles, or you have heat pumps also in the system. So we are trying to promote and drive the energy transition with using these energy communities in Europe. So it is also a way to boost these new technologies. And also it's better for the economics of the energy community because the synergy between these systems are very favorable. Last but not least, I would say that logistics means, like, for instance, if the energy community needs a roof, so for the solar installation, somehow they have to reach to this point. I know for experience in Valencia, this is a problem that many communities are facing in the urban environment. They try to make a solar installation, but they don't have a roof where to put it. So that's a barrier that we are facing now. And also the communication between the energy communities, the DCOs, and the public administrations need to be fluid, because all the bureaucracy and administrative barriers are also a very huge barrier for the people, because they have limited time and patience. So I would say this is the main things that we have to keep in mind: regulation, economics, the public awareness, the logistic, the means of the physical means, and the administrative barriers. So thank you for listening to me.
Thank you, Alvaro. Thank you very much. We got other important insights for setting up energy communities. And so let's move to the next speaker, Paula Contreras from Aiello's Energy Cooperative. She supported the implementation of the energy cooperative. She's working on that. So which are the main barriers that you face in setting up this initiative?
Hi, hello everyone. Thanks for having us, first of all. The main barriers we find when working with the goal of creating the energy communities, but also with the goal of mixing in them families and households in vulnerability situations. We usually find the same barriers with the rest of the situations. First is upfront costs. There's always some, and a lot of families cannot face them. It's just not doable for them. In this way, we find it's important to open the eyes of every energy community that's starting to create or starting to move, and show them that maybe they can add a part of to try to include these families or these households in the plan for their own energy community. It doesn't always have to come from municipalities. It can be the private sector, the civil community can move it. But that is a really huge barrier. The other one, one of the other ones is the difficulties maybe in coordinating with social services. They are usually overwhelmed, and they are the best way to reach those households, and it's sometimes difficult to coordinate. But I think the most important one, and I'm not sure if that's good, but it's that the energy world, we have to understand that it is intimidating. It is huge, it is unknown. People don't really know what's going on. Nobody has told them how it works or what's their place in it. And if we want the people, the civil communities to enter, to make theirs these kind of projects that technically are a bit more complex, we need to start from the beginning. We need to make it non-threatening. We need to educate. We need to present face-to-face. It has to be personal. It has to be easy, but transparent. It has to be not infantilizing. This is kind of hard to do because we arrive and we know what we're talking about, and we think, okay, maybe I give them a condensed small version of it, and that's enough. It's not enough. We don't have to thread super like to the very minuscule point, but they have to understand what they're getting into. They really are it's very intimidating. We have to understand that anyone that doesn't really know what's going on, the first step is huge. And to make that step easy, we have to make it non-threatening. We have to make them understand and feel like they understand, and they can get empowered to do this process. it is a process. So we have to be there for them also in the process. We have to facilitate that big first step, but also stay there. It has been said before in this today that being there constantly and keeping an eye on everything, and any kind of doubt, any kind of problem that arises, we have to be there. It is not easy. We have found that it is quite difficult to convince people that the opportunities of energy communities, they are there for them to take.
Okay.
It's hard. Yes, thank you.
Thank you, Paula, for your important reflection when you focused on the social acceptance, of the framework, which is relevant. So let's move to the next speaker, Konstantinos Konstadakopoulos. I hope that the pronunciation was good. Project manager for Municipality of Patras. And based on what the previous speakers told us, what criteria did you choose to select a pilot area for implementing energy transition interventions?
Good morning to all. Vincenzo, hi. Thank you for the occasion gave from you to present our activities and our experience. As you know, and for the others, we select to install and create the energy community and the NBS installation works in a complex of schools in Patras. And so for the selection of the pilot site for the own energy transition was based on objective criteria like that this is a controlled community, school buildings legislatively are under the administration of the municipalities, and also that municipality of Patras has a close and long-standing cooperation with the school community in issues like environmental education. But also other criteria related to environmental and energy data was based like it's a numerous community, this school complex, since 5 schools units are collocated. Its school building is quite big, so any nature-based intervention will have a significant footprint in environment, climate change mitigation, and energy saving. Also, and finally, the complex is located in an area of particular environmental interest, is adjacent to an urban forest, and on the other side to a busy traffic junction. And this city area is highly urbanized, so has a great interest from this part. To introduce the concept of NBS and energy communities in the school, by the end of past year, 2024, was established an unofficial board consisting by specialized municipal officers, the directors of the 4 unities housed in the school complex, responsibles of first and second level Directorate of Education, and representative of National Scientific Association and also some NGOs, in order to assist pilot project implementation. I would like to present briefly the steps that we follow in this work. Was created a portfolio of manuals and e-books concerning NBS benefit on climate change mitigation and urban environment upgrade, especially linked to the drought and water scarcity. and in order to increase the know-how of the community in this field. Also was created a questionnaire focused on NBS, targeted to the school community, teachers, professors, scholarship, and also own families. And this questionnaire is distributed and collected the response, and after were elaborated in order to achieve a detailed record of the community relation of the NBS issue and the energy communities. I would like to stop here and add that now we are in the final stage of the NBS installation and photovoltaic installation. Next semester, both technical work for the NBS and the photovoltaic installation will be done, and by the next year we will have also the evident results of our work. Thank you very much. I took the place to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Konstantinos, for reporting the experience in Patras and you know, connecting with the last things you said. I mean, you are in the process of deploying, you know, nature-based solutions at your pilot site. I would like to ask to Petros Mozorides from University of Cyprus why local authorities, communities should be involved in the co-design of these natural-based solutions.
Yes, thank you, Vincenzo, for this invitation. I think the question is very important. I'll try to be short but concise in my intervention. So yes, the local authorities and communities should be directly involved in co-designing nature-based solutions because their engagement ensures the relevance, the acceptance, and most importantly, the long-term sustainability of these interventions. Because only the local authorities know the available resources in order to sustain all these interventions. Another element that is very important and we should bear in mind is that, as has been said before, nowadays we do have the knowledge, the available technological tools in order to design all these nature-based solutions, but the social element of this design, it is also very important. So we need feedback from the local authorities in order to design all these nature-based solution interventions. We should also bear in mind, though, that in some cases, for example, in the Mediterranean regions, a lot of urban areas have historical centers, so it is not possible to implement some nature-based solutions that are appropriate or have been designed in a different areas. So we should engage and involve the local authorities and the citizens in order to design something that is more appropriate and it is incredible smoothly in the urban environment of the local environment and the urban environment. And as I said before, only the municipalities and the local authorities have the means in order to sustain all these interventions in a long-term approach.
Thank you, Petros. Thank you very much for your interesting observation. So we connect to what Stefan said with stakeholders engagement, basically in all the processes, you know, we develop to setting up energy communities, nature-based solutions. And to close the circle, we connect to the what Stefan told in the beginning, how that stakeholders must be involved, you know, in the streamlining the policy regulation and so on. And so I would like to ask to our speaker, Elena Stenberga from IRENA, Eastern Regional Energy Agency, how can municipality, regions, communities, and so on work together to simplify this regulatory framework and you know, simplify also the implementation of energy communities in the Euro-Mediterranean area?
Hi, hello everyone. Thank you for the question, Vincenzo. So when we talk about simplifying the regulatory frameworks for renewable energy communities, we have to be honest, the core laws are usually set at the national level through the transposition of European directives such as RED II and RED III, and municipalities and regions can't change those laws directly, but they do play a crucial role in how those laws are interpreted and experienced by potential members. So cooperation is essential, especially in the Euro-MED region, where diversity of rules can often create barriers. So the challenge is not only about reducing bureaucracy, but it's also about creating trust, as many of you said before me, transparency, and giving potential members a clear way to participate in the energy transition. So national laws are often written in a highly technical language that average citizens may find hard to navigate. And in some countries, municipalities can maybe provide clarity by preparing simple guidance and model documents that show in plain words what the required actions are. And in some cases, they might be able to act as initiators. But I think this role of municipalities or even cities is not equally possible everywhere. And they might not be able to act as frontrunners of the energy communities. So this is why I think that the role of energy agencies is important, and they should become the main drivers of such initiatives by establishing local stop shops or help desks, whether physical or digital, it doesn't matter, but they need a place where people can find, where people can file one application, and the energy agency would coordinate the process further. Municipalities and regions can then bring scale and harmonization, and in that way support individual energy agencies and promote renewable energy, help gain greater credibility of the energy community among both citizens and businesses or any other future members. Also, I think one of the biggest problems is inconsistency, since the same national law might be applied slightly differently by different local officers or grid operators. So procedures should be aligned and standardized in the interpretation of national requirements to reduce fragmentation. Citizens can then face the same rules and expectations, whether they live in the region, and then also outcomes can become more predictable.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ellen. I'm sorry to interrupt, but then we run out of time. And unfortunately, we also have no time for follow-up questions, but maybe we can take the commitment to organize an ad hoc events, an ad hoc roundtable, where we have more time to discuss more in depth, to get more opinion and more interactions, among the speaker and with the listeners that are connected. So thank you very much to everybody for your interesting contributions. A lot of food for thought for everybody, so we can take the commitment to re-update as soon as possible to have a more in-depth discussion. So now I leave the words to Professor Corrado Schenone for the, wrapping up and concluding this relevant day. Corrado, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Vincenzo. And we are at the end of this midterm conference of the EnerCmed project. And probably it's been the most punctual meeting I have ever attended, because we are perfectly on time with our agenda. And well, let me say thank you. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your contribution. Thank you for the energy you brought into today's discussion. If I have to make an assessment, honestly, in my opinion, this meeting has been a success, of course, because of the quality of the presentation, but more because it gave us the possibility to meet, to exchange views, also, of course, to learn from one another. We have seen that renewable energy communities, nature-based solutions are not simply ideas, concepts, but they are real, they're alive, they're dynamic, and they can really change the way in which our communities face the challenge to move towards the energy transition. Another value I see from today's meeting is the connections that we have created. So we are not looking back at what we have done so far, but we are also building through this meeting the ground for new collaboration, new projects, new opportunities. And this is exactly one of the aims of meetings are about. Looking ahead, looking to our future, EnerCmed still has important steps to take. But I'm sure that when we will meet again at the end of the project, we are able to look at effective results, to real outcomes, to concrete impacts, and so I expect that to have a real follow-up of our project on our cities, on our regions, on the whole Europe. Well, before closing, I want to express my gratitude for all people attending this conference, starting from the organizing staff. You don't see them, but they are here close to me. And I will thank you to the chairman, to the two chairmen of the sessions, Patras, Zoridis, and Augusto Boccanegra, and to Vincenzo Bianco, the chairman of final roundtable, and of course to our prestigious panelists. A special thank for Mr. Bernard Massabot from Dialogue for Living Area, coordinating 25 thematic projects, and many of which I've had the chance to hear about today. Thank you to all the projects represented here, and RGCOM, Your1, Logrina, Renewport, PowerUp, NAGS, NEC, and to Koala Company. Your contribution and your insights are what has made this conference truly meaningful. So we can close today's meeting being proud of what we have achieved, and also with the strong motivation to go ahead to continue working together for the next coming steps. Thank you all very much, and see you soon. Bye-bye.
Goodbye.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye
Goodbye.
bye. Thank you very much.
Bye. Thank you. Bye bye.